It's a sad day, gamers, because today we're covering my scrimbly, drimbly, grimbly. Pokemon Sword and Shield Retrospective by KingK. The reason I wanted to cover this, I actually saw that Alex Yard covered this, but after watching a bit of his video, I realized, you know what? I'd rather just watch it myself, if I'm being honest. And after clicking on it, I noticed, whoa, that's a bit weird, isn't it? That's a bit, what happened here? So I had a quick scroll through the comments, and definitely seems like we've got some unhappy people. Some unhappy people here. I watched this video, by the way, but bearing in mind, I did watch it because I did watch it while I was at work, so I wasn't fully paying attention to it. And if you ask me how did I feel about the video before, I would say there was definitely a bit of people online, but I don't remember it being that bad. Was it really as bad as the comments are laying on? Was it really worth 1.6k dislikes? My goat would never fail me. So is my goat going to have a howler? Or is it just going to be the Pokemon community being shit? I did skip ahead a bit from his standard intro. I'm assuming, my assumption is, the Game Freak is lazy paragraph is where it gets a bit people online-ish, if the, replay bar is anything to indicate. So I decided to skip ahead a little, so we're not going to watch it from the very beginning. Now, and of course, full disclosure, I am a big fan of KingK. Big fan of KingK. I've watched all his other retrospectives. I think he does a very good job, even if I disagree with him, of coming up with sound reasons as to why he came to his conclusions. Watch it from here and see where it goes. We good? Great? Good? Fantastic. Let's watch.
Sword and Shield make this more viable with the EXP share finally being phased into the series, mostly balanced around, and giving you a PC box at your fingertips. It felt like I was encouraged to experiment, putting the focus squarely on catching and battling. Systems like this feel tailor-made for the new Wild area, a big hub-like region where you run around and catch Pokemon. Though the area essentially has nothing going on besides...
He likes Origami King, therefore.
...in it, the area is smartly framed as a side attraction and endgame hub. There are only 1 or 2 cutscenes that play here, until you're back into the League Challenge. It's where you're expected to practice in between those matches, take a breather, make some curry, that sort of thing. It's your...
The water area had so much potential. I will give Sword and Shield this. I do really miss the fact that there was random encounters on top of wild encounters. There's no way I'm actually being gaslit, chat. Am I being gaslit? I've got it as high as I can get it. All right, I'm being gaslit. You guys always gaslight me with the fucking volume. You're all gaslighting me.
Challenge.
You're manipulating and abusing me.
In some ways, the area feels at odds next to the typical Pokemon progression. It wants to exude Xenoblade energy in its design, with fully evolved, high-level Pokemon dotting the landscape. Seeing these creatures walk around is a pretty surreal feeling even today, that I get to observe my boy Zigzagoon running in zigzags.
It's kind of cool.
My boy Linoon running in straight lines. It warms my heart. You get fun interactions like Sneasel dashing straight towards you, or Elgyem teleporting away. You have to whistle flying Pokemon down to you, or shake them out of berry trees. Little changes like this go a pretty long way in making them feel like authentic creatures. It also taught me little quirks I'd never have known before, endearing me to new potential favorites.
Yeah?
Have you seen
this
tree?
Gamers, it's starting. Gamers, it's starting. You see that? It's starting, gamers. It was a normal video essay. But now we're getting into the meat and potatoes. Mr. K. Mr. K. Surely you're better than the discourse, Mr. K. Surely you could just make a cool video essay and call it a day. All right, come on. Don't do this to me, Mr. K. Don't do this.
Though, Game Freak is lazy.
So just to remember, guys, okay, so also for important context, this was released a month ago in the Big 25. And this sort of, he's going to now, I'm assuming, he's now going to talk about discourse that's about 7 years old. Now, if you ask me personally, if I'm going to make a short and sealed retrospective, I would be remiss if you didn't acknowledge the big controversy, but I also want to make that a giant chunk of my video. So let's hope that KingK has adopted the Sir Moresty school of acknowledging it, but moving on and not dwelling on it too hard. Let's hope so.
Probably a sentiment you've heard before if you're an online Pokemon fan. You may have seen this thumbnail before.
I have seen that video
on your feeds many years ago. This video and many others this one sparked like a wildfire. Correctly observed in the pre-release for Gen 8 that there was something suspicious going on with these new games. The animation for Double Kick was lifted from X and Y, meaning these home console games were reusing animations from the handheld games. It turns the clock back to Pokemon Stadium and Battle Revolution. Oh, how incredible those animations were.
Oh, they were pretty nice.
That are decades old. What gives? It then cherry-picks a bunch of defenses from clearly disgruntled superfans who make arguments that are so incorrect that they basically defeat themselves, before making fun of some wild area animations for a bit, ending with the line, "Don't settle for less, fight for more."
What a slogan, am I right? I guarantee there's at least 10 of you here that like actually said this, like tweeted something like this. I guarantee you guys did. You guys were part of the discourse back then. I wasn't. I was too old for it even back then. You guys definitely were part of this. Okay, you guys definitely fell for it. I guarantee it. Some of you, no, Moresty, no. I guarantee you, some of you guys fell for this shit. Okay. Yeah, I was like 15. You know, that's fair. That's fair. If it's 15, you get to be cringe.
This video was a response to news that Sword and Shield would be the first games in the series to cut the national dex. This would mean that you would not be able to catch or transfer up every Pokemon, only those available in the regional dex.
And I would personally say that while I understand why people are annoyed, I am of the belief that it was bound to be cut eventually. So Sword and Shield bearing the brunt of that is unfortunate, but I don't think we should hold it to that game personally. Personally, if you ask me. That's like my general take. What's yours, Mr. K?
Inspired by an infamous Nintendo treehouse with Junichi Masuda, in which they state the Nintendo Switch hardware would allow them to be more expressive with Pokemon than ever before. The clip
which turned out to be a bit of a lie.
Lacks context, but this was given as a partial explanation in other interviews.
We already have well over 800 Pokemon species, and there's going to be more added in these games, and now that they're on the Nintendo Switch, we're creating it with much higher fidelity, with higher quality animations.
Like, as I said, turned out to be a bit of a lie. I mean, Pyroball's animation looks fucking lit, but a lot of them, you know.
That was directly from producer Junichi Masuda, or rather from someone.
I would say, I think Traveler of the Stars gets it right. I think the biggest crime was they weren't really honest. I think that's the biggest crime, is that they lied. I think that's the biggest crime, because what the heck? Hang on, are we back? Oh, my internet dropped for a second. Oh, we should be back though. But yeah, I think it's just a shame that they lied. It's just a shame. That's all it is, really.
I'm translating his words into English, and people latched onto this explanation like a smoking gun. You can see it in this video, balking at the idea that they'd be claiming to have used the power of the Nintendo Switch. It dug deep to prove that statement false by showing some reused animations and comparing them to Battle Revolution. It's framed as this gotcha moment, like Game Freak had been caught in the act.
While I will admit that Distant Kingdom, like, if you ask me personally, I do think Distant Kingdom's Crusade was a little bit, because I did watch all of his videos before just to prepare for this. His Crusade was a little bit, but I also don't necessarily blame him along with everyone else who is justifiably a little bit upset. Does that make sense? I think the upsettedness of everyone is the level of upset. I don't know, the ire that was drawn from everyone was justified. Was it a bit much? It is. It's the internet. Of course it was. But I think the main points that were being presented were, I think, fair. I think they were sound. You know? That's what I would say. And that's my general conclusion. What does Mr. K think? Although, Saul, thank you so much. If they didn't remove it in Gen 8, they would remove it in Gen 9. I think, yeah, I think so. So it was bound to happen eventually, like I said.
In actuality, this was done during a Nintendo Treehouse live stream where the game was being shown off directly, where anyone with a functioning pair of eyeballs could see the quality of the visuals and the animation.
Oh, boy. Oh, Mr. K. Oh, no. Hang on. Functioning pair of eyeballs. Oh, boy. Okay. He's going to get spicy again. He's going to get spicy.
The whole world while saying these things. There was no deception here. It was laid out for everyone to see.
It's still pretty shitty that they lied, though. Does that make sense? I think people could still be annoyed that they were lied to. You know? I think that's fair, right? I think that's fair. Isn't that fair, Mr. K?
More to the point, what people often left out of the discussion was the other reasons Pokemon were being cut, that there were, in fact, other considerations during development.
But even more than that, it's coming down to the...
But even more than that, it's coming down to the battle system. We'll make sure we keep everything balanced and giving all Pokemon a pair, give them a chance to shine. Yeah, I agree with this sentiment. I would say so. That having a smaller group of Pokemon gives them more chance to shine. I agree with this. Again, I understand that people are upset about it, but I think this is a sound explanation. We knew that at some point we weren't going to be able to indefinitely keep supporting all the Pokemon, and we just found that Sword and Shield would probably be the best point to go back, reevaluate what would be the best selection of Pokemon that could appeal to the widest audience, while also keeping consideration the balance of that battle system. Yeah, I think that's sound. And if KingK is wondering why people conveniently left it out, it's because it obviously doesn't fit their narrative. They're obviously being a bit bad faith in that regard. Is it a shame that that's the case? Yeah, of course, but I still think people have a right to be a little not right, but what's it, right? Would I say a bit of a right? I think I would say people are justified. That's the word I'd use. I think people are justified in their anger. I would say that's what I'm saying. I think people are justified. Did they go too far? Maybe some people didn't, but I think that's justified.
Battle system. We're making sure we can keep all of the Pokemon and reevaluate what would be the best selection of Pokemon that appeal to.
That's odd. I thought Game Freak were lazy. They're giving this an awful lot of thought for a group of devs who supposedly don't give a fuck.
I mean, hang on. Where do I even start? Let him have a bit of snark. I suppose you can have a little bit of snark, right? But my issue with this is that this is not the kind of thing I expect from a KingK video. Do you know what I mean? That's why this seems a bit weird, you know? That's why this seems a bit weird. And also, yeah, there's always going to be a bit of, what am I trying to say? There's always going to be people that are just a bit much. And what I would say is if you were going to do this, say if I was going to do this, right? Say if I was going to do a Sword and Shield retrospective and I was going to acknowledge the controversies, right? I feel like I would take the steel-manned position. That's the opposite of straw man, by the way. I would probably take the best arguments that people would make and try to refute those as opposed to going up against randos on the internet being hyperbolic. Hyperbole is rampant on the internet. Of course people are going to say Game Freak are lazy. They're lazy. And it's like, are they lazy, or is it just that this is an IP that makes a lot of money, and as a result, I don't think it's too out of bounds for people to expect it to be better? Does that make sense? That's the general point that people are making, to which I would say personally, I agree, but I also think that 7 years after this discourse, caveat emptor, like, you know what Pokemon is, I know what Pokemon is, right? If you're still going to a Pokemon game expecting Breath of the Wild graphics, that's kind of on you. Would it be nice if it did? Yeah, but we're kind of like 7 years into the Switch. We kind of know what's going on here, you know? So I'm not necessarily settling for less, but I'm more just like, okay, if I'm going to buy these games, I know they're not going to be as graphically capable as they could. Does that make sense? The title should have been about the online discourse as opposed to retrospect. Yeah, I think so, definitely. It feels like less of a discussion, but more of a hard gotcha. Definitely. I'm definitely getting that vibe. But hopefully KingK can save it. Let's hope so. I wouldn't say the video's gone off the deep end just yet, but it's definitely been we're definitely veering off course. Let's put it that way.
There's some snarkiness here. Forgive me.
Oh, even admits it was being snarky. Okay, fair.
Actually, don't disagree with the sentiment.
Okay, that's good to hear then. At least I paused too soon. My apologies.
Although the wild area doesn't look good, and the DLC areas modeled after it don't look much better. Some of these sites are harrowing. I think a lot of the reaction by the fanbase can be explained by mismatched expectations. Pokemon is already a franchise built by imagination. Those first few generations left a lot up to it.
I'll let him finish his point, but I think... Hang on. I'll let him finish it.
Filled in so many blanks that I'm sure we have all had a thought or two as to what this world and its creatures would look like with modern technology. What if the Pokemon world looked like Breath of the Wild or something comparable? Huge, free, and beautiful? I certainly dreamt something like that up as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So here comes this Pokemon game in a post-Breath of the Wild world.
Mm-hmm.
A complete reinvention of open worlds and freedom. And Sword and Shield are not that. They have only barely escaped the confines of the 3DS, and with a few adjustments, wouldn't feel out of place on the handheld. It's...
So to go back to his earlier point, I just want to, because I don't know if he finished it. I want to address this bit here.
A lot of the reaction
when he says this, hang on,
can be explained by mismatched expectations.
To which I would say, not necessarily. I would say now maybe you could make that argument. Again, we've got Sword and Shield, PLA, SV, right? There's 3 Pokemon games that indicate what the average Pokemon game will probably look like on the Switch. If you see those 3 games and expect PLZA to be Breath of the Wild, I think you're a bit of an idiot. But considering this is like, what, the first, other than Let's Go, but Let's Go felt like a bit more of a, you know, just a test. This is the first Switch game, you know, where Switch, bigger console, give us more, yeah! I think that was fair for people to expect. I think that was fair. I don't necessarily think the expectations were mismatched. And when he says the first 3 generations left a lot to imagination, well, yeah, because they're on the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, like, they're on, like, drastically inferior hardware where you just have to, like, fill in the blanks a lot more, you know? Like, on Pokemon Emerald, when it, like, Fall Arbor Town only has, like, 4 buildings, yeah, like, I'm expecting that to exist only because it's a fucking GBA game, you know? But if it was on a bigger hardware, I'm expecting each town to maybe have a bit more sauce about them, you know? Does that make sense? Like, I don't necessarily think the exposition doesn't help that Let's Go looks better. Yeah, it certainly doesn't. Certainly doesn't. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Also, Let's Go looked pretty great, so Switch were a bit of a downgrade. Yeah, that also didn't help neither. Yeah, I actually don't think that helped neither. I'm going to be honest, that didn't help neither. So I'll skip ahead to when he was making his next point.
Before, they simply tragically could
Hang on, let's go back a little.
Waterfall of modern developers, only to the same tight timetable with other set of Pokemon games built under the same tight timetable with roughly the same amount of core developers, only swimming up the exponentially quickening waterfall of modern game development. That Sword and Shield aimed to be Dynamax versions of the games themselves is proof that they wanted to go bigger and better than they've ever done before. They simply, tragically, could not escape the shackles of their overwhelming success and crumpled under its colossal weight. After all, as long as the games continue to come out at a frequent pace, they're going to make money hand over fist, which essentially defeats most arguments people have against their release schedule before they can even be spoken. Why don't the quality of these games reflect the money that they make? Well, that's how you win the rat race. All across the industry, we hear about how much money is pumped into AAA games, that almost all of them don't make their money back, or only just barely do.
I would say this is a fair point to make, but I would also add an extra line in the script that says, this sucks a lot, and I'm with you guys, but that's just the way it is. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? That's a fair point to make. I'm now hoping he says, yeah, that sucks. It sucks we won't get a good Pokemon game because they make too much money. In the same way, it sucks I will never get a Portal 3 because Steam makes way too much money for Valve. But that's just how it is. That's what I'm hoping for. You know, that's what I'm hoping for. Otherwise, my problem with Pokemon is that the graphics, like they're trying to have these detailed environments, but unable to, leaving them uninspired. I'd say they've gotten better at it. I think SV has shown that they're able to make some of the towns and cities look really cool, but it's just, you know, they just don't get enough time. But at least, I mean, if PLZA is anything to go by, they kind of listened to our cries and took a year off, you know? Does that make sense? Like, so maybe they're learning. Maybe our Game Freak is lazy allegations actually bore through. I don't know.
The cost of making prestige games is immense.
It is.
Exponentially more developers, which all cost more money, and they all need several more years of development time. And because they've already sunk so much money into the project, they need to pump even more into marketing to make sure people actually buy it. Meanwhile,
I get how capitalism works. It does suck. I'm waiting for him to be like to stand in class solidarity. I'm waiting for that, King K. You have to stand in class solidarity with me, okay? Because I know how capitalism works. It sucks. It's bad, right? It sucks. Fuck it. Yeah, it sucks. Come on.
Sword and Shield are developed on a shoestring budget with a relatively small group of developers, and they turn a game around in a year or two. Instant bucket loads of not just money, but profit.
They are winning the game, you're right.
There. That's why Pokemon is the king of capitalism. They pay less.
Capitalism mentioned. Let's go. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, hang on. Let's go. Capitalism mentioned. Time for me to get angry in the comments.
Make more. Is that the fault of the artists who continue to try to make something beautiful?
Obviously not. Obviously not.
Nightmare with what little time and
obviously not.
They have. Yeah, all right. What about the national Dex, though? The promise Pokemon made that you would be able to catch every Pokemon and
again, I think this is one of those things that would help you if you steel man instead of straw manning. I genuinely do not believe, even for a second, that any normal person would genuinely blame the artists. I don't believe that. When people say Game Freak is lazy, they're referring to the like company as a whole, as opposed to the fucking artists or I'm not calling out Joe Schmo, like junior artist, for being lazy. It's a general critique at how they don't seem to put in as much time as they would. That's the Steelman position, all right? That's what I'm saying. You're referring to like the big wigs at the top who are making the decision to keep the gravy train rolling, you know? I don't know, man. Yeah, exactly. So we don't care about the graphics, but I want to have yearly program games. That's true. That's me. You're referring to me. But I'm someone who's just like that. I genuinely don't care that PLZA doesn't look as good as it could. I just hope it has stable frame rates, unlike SV. But I also understand why people get annoyed by it. It's like one of those, yeah, I get it, but then I just go back to playing the game. That's how it feels for me.
Transfer them up through all of the games was broken, right?
I think people mean to say that when they just blanket Game Freak is lazy, they need to be more specific in their critique. I think expecting randos on the internet to be specific with their critique is a losing battle. If KingK's is specifically calling out specific people that are peddling that narrative, fair. And I think you should hold them to account, absolutely. But if you're referring to like Joe Schmo in a fucking live chat and expecting him to be a bit more nuanced than Game Freak is lazy, I think you're having a losing battle. You know what I mean? I think you're playing a losing fight. Does that make sense?
Here, that sucks. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't suck.
It does suck. Yes.
Yet as
yes.
someone who
He's with me.
Black and white, I also don't really know that Dexit is something that affects me much at all. Catching every Pokemon is an activity that ceased to be exciting past the first couple generations.
I agree personally.
And has only become less feasible the higher that number goes. Sword and Shield set the number of existing Pokemon at just shy of 900. It was inevitable, if not
it was true.
Some future one. I have also never really cared much about transferring Pokemon up. I replay the games so often that I've pretty much gotten used to the idea that the pals I ran through the games with will mostly exist in my memories. I keep some of them in Pokemon Home, but for the most part, I don't even remember they're in there. I do it so I can complete these new regional dexes faster for the shiny charm. I suppose the stories I get to tell about the teams I craft are more important to me than the pixels themselves. True. It's interesting that the National Dex took up so much of the conversational spotlight.
Now, this is the part, KingK, where okay. Personally, I'm with KingK. I genuinely don't care that Dexit happened. Well, I wouldn't say I don't care. It was annoying, but I'm just like, oh, I get it. Because I'm the kind of person who will use a new team every time. Every single time I play a Pokemon game, I generally make sure my team is only the new Pokemon, right? I think my Paldean team fits that mold, my Galarian team fits that mold, etc., right? So I'm one of these people. But I could definitely understand there are people who like have their fucking scrimpy little Eevee that they've carried through every game. Or maybe not Eevee's the best example, but like, I don't know, like their Steelix or something like that. Their Steelix. Their scrimpy little Steelix that they got from Colosseum or something, you know, and they want to carry it all the way, but now they can't, you know. Oh, it must suck. I get it. Like, I think it's fair to acknowledge that some people might genuinely be annoyed. Although to them, I would just say, get new friends, idiot. There's like a billion motherfuckers now, and you're fixated on one, dumbass. But if I was going to make a Sword and Shield retrospective, I'd be a bit more sympathetic to those people, you know? In a live stream, yeah, fuck you losers, okay? Use a different Pokemon, okay? Quaquaval is one of my favorite, top 10 favorite Pokemon of mine, and I wouldn't have been able to discover that if I was fixated on my old my old goats, you know? Let the past die, kill it if you have to, you know? That's generally how I tend to operate. I will say Dexit doesn't matter to me since I don't transfer. But Zangoose not being there is a deal breaker. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, if Dragonite is not in a regional dex, I'm not gonna fucking cry. You know, it's my favorite mon. I love him. He carries a lot of nostalgia for me. But I'm like, you know, yeah, it's just how it is. I don't know, man. Even if it's a losing fight, it's still worth mentioning. I'm not going to war over it, but I'm calling a spade a spade. Hey, listen, if you want to call out individuals for being poor with their wording, sure, but that's a fight I don't want to fight. I'm too old for it. I'm sorry. I'm just too old. I remember when Pokemon Home first came out, people treated Dexit as holding your Pokemon hostage because of the subscription service. That was pretty funny. Oh, my poor Pokemon. My Delcat. My poor Delcat. She can't come out. Your Pokemon sucks, lad. Okay, make some new friends. That's my stance anyway.
This is the first Dex in quite a while I completed. The wild area's visuals might be lackluster, but collecting is so much more efficient and fun when you can roll for a ton of them at once in this mega collection of routes, using your eyes to spot the ones you need. It's a much more active hunt, with a major social edition in max raid dens. It's a little more difficult to find active players these days, but I spend...
I still think like raids, like as a concept, is easily one of the best things that Pokemon's ever made. And I'm hoping KingK agrees. It does suck how... If there's one thing they need to do in fucking Gen 10 or whatever you call it, if you're going to have a raid system, make it so that I can invite one friend to my raid, but then open up to the public so 2 randos can join. Because like it sucks when I'm playing with my fiance and it's like, oh, if us 2 want to do a raid together, we have to deal with 2 fucking AIs. I'm like, no. I don't want to ping my Discord, okay? I don't want to bother anyone, all right? I just want to play, goddammit. Sucks. Fix it!
With friends, catching Pokemon in these raid dens, turning encounters into cooperative boss fights with a whole host of rewards like rare candies, TMs, and sometimes hidden abilities. I find the art of catching Pokemon these days is just a little tedious. Weaken them, throw up a status condition, and chuck the ball until they're caught. Max raids offer a more exciting alternative, asking you to defeat the super rare, strong Pokemon you're at.
I still think that like Pecharunt is like probably my favorite mythical now, because like you actually had to like kill it in battle and then you could catch. It was like basically a raid battle. It was like a big raid battle, and like that fucker knocked out like 5 out of 6 of my team, man. He took me to the fucking he took me to the final buzzer, man. That guy was crazy. I like that fight, so I needed that. I need more of this. Okay, I need more of this shit in my Pokemon. Okay, thank you, Saul. If I keep being fixed on my childhood goat, then would be Glamora's biggest defender. Yeah, exactly. You need to find new friends. You know what I mean? You need to find new friends. That's how it goes. Thank you, Saul.
Before you can get your hands on it. Some of these higher difficulties are no joke either, encouraging the use of moves and abilities you would only ever see in double battles. Those CPU-controlled allies you're stuck with offline are more of a liability the higher your level, since you need to break through multiple
KingK,
bars.
That's more like it, okay? That's more like it. You're making a good video when you don't focus on the discourse. See? You see, guys? You see, my goat is cooking. My goat is cooking. You see this? He agrees with me, therefore. He's making a good video essay.
One of the
now don't fuck this up.
Multiplayer features we've seen since the GTS. If you find a really rare den, you can call up a friend or 2 and you all get a chance to catch it together. That was what pushed me to complete the decks all those years ago, while I toyed around with competitive teams to take into the battle tower thanks to the barrier for entry being so low now. Though we have undeniably lost a lot in the transition to the Switch, we've also gained a lot of novel new features.
True.
I don't think it's fair to say Game Freak are lazy after what they were able to accomplish in such a short amount of time without any extensions to account for the increased development scope. For better or worse, it's hard to imagine Sword and Shield working quite as well on the 3DS, even if it looks like it could have been on it. And I suppose that's a compliment of some kind.
Oh no, hang on. Oh no, we're gonna get... Hang on. Okay. Okay, we're in a new section, okay. I thought it was pausing to add some snark. I thought it was pausing for dramatic effect. I'm getting scared now, KingK. I'm getting scared.
Alright then.
Oh no, no, no!
What about the DLC?
God damn it! It's not this. No! No! My goat! No! He's discourse poisoned, guys! He's fucking discourse poisoned! Okay, okay, hang on. Wait. It might not be. It might not be. Hang on.
Audacity to release.
For fuck's sake.
Right. The expansion pass is a replacement for a third version, in a sense. It's a little more expensive than a third version, but you also don't have to play through an entire game again, which is nice. Still,
cold take, I much prefer DLC expansions over third versions, okay? Get screwed off, Pokemon losers.
Still not exactly thrilled by the pricing, or how you can only buy DLC for one version, but that is a battle I will never win. For as long as Pokemon is the hottest drug on the market, they're gonna charge beyond a premium. It's interesting, they've toyed around with the 2-version thing this time, giving players unique gym leaders and...
True! I think that's really cool, I like that.
It's a neat way to play into those campy version wars we do every generation.
True. Melanie is way better than Gordy, okay? All you Gordy fucks can get on my stream, okay? I want Melanie, okay? My goat.
And alter everyone's experience ever so slightly. Right.
Alistair is better than B neither. Get out!
Sorry, I forgot. The fact that they release one's experience ever so slightly. Right. sorry, I forgot. The fact that they release multiple versions is inherently evil, and now at full price, there shouldn't be 2 versions at all. Nothing interesting comes from that. Right. The DLC...
All right. Had to throw in a bit of snark there again. All right, Mr. K, all right.
The expansions are built like the Wild area. The Isle of Armor is a tropical
Don't
island.
be
where
like that,
torpedoes
shut up.
lock onto you like heat-seeking missiles, and you get to see a 2-scale Wailord out in the distance. People complained about Wailord's real size long enough that they finally did it, the Mad Lads. But it shrinks in battles. Wow. That completely ruins the whole attempt. All because Game Freak are so...
Stop! Hey, don't say it. Don't you fucking say... Hey, you are making a good video essay. Do not ruin it with more people online.
damn lazy.
For fuck's sake. I didn't realize there was this much. I'm gonna be honest, chat. I didn't realize there was this much of this. God damn it.
Right.
Move on! Stop!
Crown Tundra.
Thank you.
Emulates a more rural village in the snow where you revive farming customs surrounding a dead god and hunt for new legendaries. They differ from the wild area in that they have stories to follow, giving these open areas more direction. The Isle of Armor is a fun little story where you raise a cub into a
Isle of Armor was...
master. The progression of the story isn't terribly exciting.
Must your goat looking a little damp? Hey, listen, he's looking a little damp, okay? He's not washed. We're still in the good zone, okay? We're still in the good zone. Calm down, chat. Calm down, okay?
They have you running around the map collecting mushrooms and wrangling slowpoke.
Yeah, Isle of Armor, I was not big on this DLC. Bearing in mind I am going off memory, I haven't replayed it. Lord knows I don't want to fucking replay Sword and Shield. I remember it being not that good. Crown Tundra was solid, even outside of Dynamax Adventures, which is the best mode ever made. I thought Calyrex's story was okay. And also hunting for the Galarian Cantonian birds was pretty neat. The Reggie thing, it was alright, I guess. But Crown Tundra was solid.
Meant to interact with the island's raid dens, items, and Pokemon more than you're meant to spend time with the narrative. And that's a philosophy which holds true for Crown Tundra as well. This more hands-off
What's my
approach
favorite
is a
DLC?
smart one,
It's gotta be
since it
Blueberry
gives you a lot of
Academy.
freedom to approach whatever you want. Once you meet Peony in Crown Tundra, you're introduced to max raid battles, and then he gives you all of your quest lines to pursue legendary Pokemon across the region. You can do those missions in any order, or not at all. I had a lot more fun exploring Crown Tundra since the legendary Pokemon lying in wait felt like more substantial rewards
True.
than the Isle of Armor. where
True.
you
See, he's
ran around
cooking. He's
for
cooking.
areas
He's drying
constantly
off.
for max mushrooms. I love the Galar forms of the Cantonian birds.
Same.
And being forced to chase them down.
I think
showcasing
Articuno is my
each
favorite.
bird's unique behaviors is a much more interesting spin on the idea of roaming legendaries. I do wish they'd gone a bit farther with this idea. It's fun to have the Reggies back alongside 2 new ones based on the electric and dragon types.
That's like how sassy Articuno looks, you know?
That the puzzles you need to solve are all spelled out to you. It's trying to call back to the cryptic braille of Emerald without any of the bite. It's so much more exciting to collect these monsters when you have to find them, suss out their location. Really, that's the strength of having an open world Pokemon.
Oh, so what? Did you go for Reggie Drago instead of Reggie Alecki? I don't know. King K might be washed, chat. He might be a bit washed. Also, chat, have you been stuck up there this whole time? You silly chat. Get down from there, all right? You're supposed to be over here.
Expansions are desperately trying to exploit. If you've learned anything in this video, though, it's that the amount of legendary Pokemon increases with each game, and if they're all going to come back, they can't all have fun puzzles to solve. That would take time and resources this team clearly does not have. They'd rather pour that attention into the story of Calyrex, the new legendary, exploring how this farming village's cultural traditions have faded from the minds of all but its eldest citizens, becoming nothing more than a fairy tale.
I made the saddest mistake of going for Glastria instead of Spectria because I thought I'd be different and not go for the one that everyone wanted to go for. But I made a mistake. I fucking hate Glastria. Spectria looks so cooler.
Creation Trio? They're hanging out in the random mountain next door. Why?
Hey.
Nobody really knows. But hey, max raid battles are really fun, so I'll give them a pass.
Yeah,
this is the
true.
kind of feature I wish more Pokemon post games had. It
True.
functions a lot like the
SV
battle
should have had
facilities
this.
of old, which gave you rental Pokemon. Except in this case, you use those Pokemon along with some friends or CPU-controlled allies to defeat.
Actually, a lot of fun, by the way. If you guys have never played Dynamax Adventures, you're missing out. Okay, this is actually really fun. I fucking love this.
Several raid dens in a
Actually
row
the best
with
mode
a
ever.
boss fight against a random legendary at the end. This is similar to the Ultra Space wormholes from Ultra Sun and Moon, which were fun in their own way. But as someone who prefers features like the Battle Factory, this is a mode
We need to do more of this, chat. We need to do more of this on
I
stream.
love being thrown a random Pokemon and chucked into a roguelike. Catching Dynamax Pokemon will give you or your allies a chance to swap their current Pokemon with the one you defeated, and there are various events along the way which heal you, offer you a wonder trade, or give you an item. It's like baby's first Slay the Spire. I spent a good third of my overall playtime in these games exclusively
Bruh, I spent like
in this mode.
I spent like 70% of my playtimes in this bitch, honestly.
It's close to being as fun as many of my other favorite post-game attractions. Maybe not as lovingly handcrafted as the Pokemon World Tournament, but it's essentially the closest we've come to an official Pokemon roguelike. More on that later, by the way. Stick around if you like Pokerogue. That's a pretty big plus in a post-game that is often rather monotonous. The main game's post-adventure wraps up Hop's character arc.
Bruv, look at my post game, dog. Look at my post game characters, dude. I'm going to jail. Jesus Christ. Whose idea was that? I want to fire the guy who made these two, bruv. Get him. Get these fucking nerds out of my game, bro. Actually, it's so bad.
But the path to that development is pretty horrible. I hope you enjoy running around and doing pointless max raid battles. That's all you really get to do, besides the battle tower. I spent so much time in the wild area anyway, finishing out the decks and hanging out with friends. I think that's simply the transition
Who's his
these
barber,
games
bruv?
are attempting to make. To resemble MMOs with single-player campaigns, more than single-player
Use the
games.
PP up on his
It's an
head.
especially tantalizing
True.
proposition when moving to the Nintendo Switch, which revitalized local co-op. It makes more business sense to pour all of that additional dev time into DLC expansions anyway, even if it upsets me to admit. Evidently, that's a pill most vocal Pokemon fans are unwilling to
Oh no, are we going back to people online? Oh no. Oh no, Mr. K, please. Please don't do it, Mr. K. We were doing so well.
Evidently, that's a pill most vocal Pokemon fans are unwilling to swallow.
Yeah?
That's fair enough. But in that refusal, there can exist a sense of resentment that seems pointless. Almost always in situations like this, fans will get mad and scream about DLC or whatever else they don't like. Maybe the thought is that screaming loud enough will cause it to go away. But the reality is, these things...
No, they're just fans. They'll scream. That's just what they... I feel like... You know, I don't know, again, I cut him off midpoint. But I feel like the more I watch, the more my mindset just seems rarer and rarer. Because to me, like, the entire internet is a wash to me. For me, I operate under the assumption that every single bit of discourse is going to be shit until proven good. That's how I operate under everything. If you're wondering how do I handle this after so many... That's my mindset. I assume everything is dog shit until I go, oh, hey, that was cool. We had some constructive conversation there, you know? That's how I operate under. So when Pokemon fans start screaming, I'm like, does the day end in a Y? Does the sun rise from the east? Like, that's my mindset. I'm expecting them to get pissed, you know? Like when the PLZA trailer came out and the billion-dollar company, why does it look like PS2 came back? I wasn't annoyed. I'm just like, yeah, we just laughed at a lot of the comments, didn't we? I had a lot of fun reading the comments. But that's genuinely my mindset. I just go, yeah, it's all gonna suck. It's all a wash. Expect to see, hoping for a beat. Exactly. Slop until proven peak. That's gonna be the slogan. I always expect slop until proven peak. That's like literal mindset. So I don't know, man. It seems like King K genuinely expected Pokemon fans to be normal. Brother, no chance, Mr. K, no chance.
Thought is that screaming loud enough will cause it to go away. But the reality is, these things are happening because they currently sell. There is no one to be angry at. Everyone in...
I wonder if he's going to acknowledge this, but I would like to believe, maybe I'm But maybe I would like to believe that it was all of the hubbub that we caused that caused them to skip a year. I'd like to believe that's the case because and there's a bit of precedent with this because I remember a lot of Assassin's Creed fans kept saying the same thing with Assassin's Creed. And I remember they took a year off to make, was it the one that was saying Egypt? I remember they took a year off and that was kind of like oh shit, they actually listened to the fans. I don't know if the game turned out to be better as a result, but they did do that. Exactly. So I would like to believe us screaming into the wind enough caused enough of a tornado. You know, I would like to believe that. Maybe. Was more based on Switch 2 getting delayed. Listen, it was us. We did it. Okay, shut up. We did it. No, it was us. It was us. It was us. It was us. We did it. It was all our fault. We did it, Pokemon fans. We didn't settle for less. We fought for more.
Involved is doing their job successfully. That means this anger has nowhere to be directed.
No, it worked. We got a year delayed.
Who continue to buy Pokemon games? If only
we did it already.
Stopped buying them, we would be able to restore the purity of Pokemon, right? As if most people playing the games even care about any of this to begin with? As if it's wrong for people to continue to enjoy Pokemon for reasons you cannot understand? I mean...
Again, that's just the internet being the internet, brother. That's just the internet being the internet. Like, if you're asking me, I'm with you, Mr. K. I genuinely don't... Like, these graphics do not bother me. As long as the frame rates are solid. As I said, Game Freak, I still don't forgive you for SV DLC 2, you fucks. I don't forgive you for Castle Royale Lake or Levensia. That's what I'm pissed about. The game looking kind of, no? I am that fan. I'm like you. But I also understand that I would say people are justifiably upset, you know?
If I can be truthful, I don't really care all
Same!
that much.
I don't care
neither. If I
neither.
wasn't out here writing about games, I don't think I would even acknowledge any of this stuff for more than
True!
It'd be, that sucks, and then I would move on.
Literally me! That's literally me!
From the video
My goat is dry. My goat is dry.
This playthrough, I ran into a full odds shiny Dottler, and I smiled like I was a kid again. Paraded around a purple ore beetle named Zim, and grinded max mushrooms for its Gigantamax form. That form doesn't even really do anything
that's pretty cool.
except make it look cool when Dynamaxing. Nevertheless, I did the thing I explicitly stated I disliked doing, and ran around looking for max mushrooms.
I got a shiny orbital, therefore I'm right. Bruv, Mr. K. Welcome. Welcome to the Sir Musty stream, brother.
But in the end, I got my
the discourse is amazing.
UFO bug. My reasons for continuing to enjoy this formulaic structure might be perceived as shallow, but I don't really care. I don't need my opinion of a video game to be anything more than special to me. I just happen to share mine with all of you. On the internet, every opinion has to be a movement. Booming out a little, I'm going to be honest, booming out a little bit. It doesn't have to be. I think it's just more of a case that you've unfortunately, I'll play sad song. You're unfortunately a bigger YouTuber. I know. Shocking. So people kind of see you as like a spearhead of discussion when ideally I understand that you don't want to be, but that's just the reality of how it is. Like one reality that I will come to accept eventually, while it will be upsetting, is that I probably won't be able to do the same kind of react streams that I've always been. Because what will happen, ideally it won't, because I'll cultivate a community that doesn't do this, is what will happen is that I will cover someone a lot smaller than me, and there will be people that will like harangue them in the comments, right? Again, I'm very strict on that sort of thing now, so ideally I build up a community that doesn't do that, but that's the sort of thing that I can sadly come to the realization of when I become a big YouTuber. And one of those things is that you might just be yapping into a mic for an hour about Pokemon, but it's just one of those things where since you're a big YouTuber man that has big YouTuber numbers, people are going to see your opinions as more valid than, or more holding more weight than you ideally would like. It's just what happens, unfortunately. So I understand your frustration, but that's just kind of how it is. That's just kind of how it is, you know? I'll fight any YouTuber for you. See, that's why you're the GOAT, Battenberg. See, that's why Battenberg's the GOAT. Can we pin this message, please? Thank you, Battenberg. I knew I could trust him, even if you are a Spurs fan. I say, man, it's annoying how some bloody hit on anything, but that's just how some people are. It's annoying, but it's inevitable. And you don't have to let it annoy you. I don't. It's more fun that way. Yeah, it seems like see, for me, I'm not gonna pretend, chat. I'll be honest with you. Are there moments where like the internet kind of gets to me? Yeah, of course there are. But I have a fiance that's more than willing to hear me bitch about random commenters that annoyed me that day. Do you know what I mean? I get it out of my system with a Drama Mondays update, and then I just move on. Does that make sense? I kind of get out of my system and I move on. But when you make a pre-recorded, scripted, vocalized, and then put it out for the internet to see, obviously people are going to think about it some sort of way. Does that make sense? Like,
It's just how it is, sadly. You are a big YouTuber, man, therefore.
This anger at nobody needs meaning. So maybe if we all organize and yell loud enough, we can defeat evil. Look, I hate to be the one to say this, but it's not going away. It doesn't matter how hard you scream. It doesn't matter what you say. Businesses are built to go where the money goes. If you've got a good thing like this going, rule number 1 is to not fuck that up. Whatever it takes.
Again, understandable, but I feel like I've repeated this a bunch of times. Yes, we know how capitalism works. I stand in solidarity with anyone that's willing to bitch about it, at least when it comes to Pokemon. I like owning stuff, okay?
Unless, of course, you're willing to take a look at the systems which perpetuate these incentives and lines of thought. Judging by the comments on Alex.
Oh no, gamers, no! People online, no! I don't know, it's kind of get. I mean, at least he showed some comments, but I'll be real with you, King K. Default Dan only 4 likes? Like, brother, is this the guy you're really gonna show me? Is this really the guy that you're gonna show me? Fuck, man. Corporatism, not capitalism. You're good at misidentifying things. It seems like you're trying to critique capitalism without understanding what it means and without offering what other form would be better. Because I tell you this, socialism in all forms, communism, feudalism, would not allow these things to exist, and fascism would heavily distort the games and its messages. Yeah, and also, I think that's another thing you have to kind of be careful of. When you do invoke capitalism, when you say my face went capitalism, you're right, but I don't think you can necessarily not expect these kinds of people to be in your comments. Does that make sense? I think that's just kind of, again, it's my mindset of I assume it's all going to be slop until proven peak, you know? Like, is, like, the machines that be the reason why Pokemon the way it is? Yes. The other example I used was Valve. Because they make so much money off just residuals off Steam, they have no horse in the race to develop actual video games anymore, which is unfortunate. But that's just how it is. So when you bring that up, you're very fair and valid in bringing it up. But you can expect shitters like this. So what I would say to you is, if you have a fiance like I do, or someone else that you can a bitch to, just do that. Because that's how I get out of my system. It doesn't happen often. But when it does, I'm like, Brianna, could you believe this shit? Some guy, like, literally, hang on, literally, I did it today, chat. I literally did it today. When we called, I showed her the fucking screenshot of the guy calling me the guy racially abusing me. I'm like, babe, could you believe this shit? You know, like, I got out of my system and then I moved on. So when you put it in a video like this, it does give off the urge that is kind of coping. And I can understand why people were a bit upset with this video. Well, not upset, but like upset with the direction that you took this video. Does that make sense? Like, your other retrospectives are very focused. And I think that's what I liked about your retrospectives. But it seems like more like, I wouldn't be shocked if someone did like a minute-for-minute breakdown 30 minutes in and say that you probably spent more time whinging about people online in the discourse than you did actually analyzing the game. I would say it's probably like 20 minutes of the game analysis and 10 minutes of this. You know? It's just a bit unfortunate. That's not what I come to a King K video for, you know? I come for your dulcet tones and excellent analysis, right? That's what I come here for. Not for this shit. Or not for you to platform ArtXJ default that. He didn't even put a profile picture on, bro. Come on. At least I have a profile picture. A very nicely drawn one. Let's read the other ones. It's always fun when people blame capitalism when they can't blame anything else. Honestly, it's just dumbing down the videos when you can't articulate your hang-ups with the franchise. Again, this is another shitter comment that you just ignore. You just think, oh, just ban them, bro. Just ban them. Trust me, it's good. I ban people sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. In the first minute, game is bad because capitalism is hilarious. Again, this fucker's just straight up being bad faith. I'm assuming, I don't know which video this comment is from, but I'm assuming you didn't literally say that. And if you didn't literally say that, why are you even showing this guy? Does that make sense? Why are you even showing this guy? This guy's obviously being bad faith. Delete his bitch ass. That's what I would do.
Why video, though?
Oh, there's more. Took barely a minute to get the super original capitalism bad stim. No profile pic! Brother, why are you platforming default? This is unbelievable. There's more. Is there more? Jeez, not even 2 minutes in, capitalism bad already came out. At least he has a profile picture. It wouldn't be a YouTube documentary without the perennial question, did capitalism do this? I like his use of the word perennial. Still no. And again, none of these have like a billion zillion upvotes. Does that make sense? I guarantee. Hang on. Let's Let's do an experiment. Let's do an experiment right now. Let's go to your X and Y one, because I'm presuming the capitalism stuff probably happened in the X and Y one, because that's obviously like when, you know, it became apparent that Pokemon was a bit on a shoestring budget. If we look at the top comments, let's have a look. Top comment, completely fine. Top comment about Lysander. Another big comment about, the one thing that holds it back is no Pokemon Z based. 2 sets of starters. Yeah, fair, fine. Klefki, someone talking about Klefki. KingK's versus the same so bad they developed just once he just uploaded a pretty funny comment, one that you hearted because I'm presuming it's good. Someone talking about how you know, X and Y was deserved the game just like Emerald. All of the comments were generally positive, which makes your choice to highlight some default Dans even more questionable, if you ask me. I can understand your frustration. Again, it happens to me sometimes. Don't platform these idiots, all right? If you're going to platform anyone, platform the people that are genuinely willing to listen and lend their sort of criticism. That's the sort of thing I do. If someone's willing to, if someone's takes umbrage with my videos, yeah, that's absolutely fine, absolutely. But if someone leaves a comment like this, get out. I don't want you in my comments. I don't want you here. I really don't. That's just my philosophy anyway. It's only thanks to capitalism that most of these creative endeavors are even allowed to exist and flourish in the first place. It's frustrating to see YouTubers I like and respect fall into the capitalism bear trap. This one isn't even that bad. This one is like, yeah, because I understand you being a little annoyed, but this one isn't that terrible.
Impossibility.
I hate how you don't understand capitalism. It's a voluntary exchange of goods or services between people. Capitalism is not equal profits or anything else. Pokemon's problem is the lack of competition due to the target demographic, children, and the creature collecting genre, not capitalism. The only series that made the Pokemon... What? Again, this comment isn't that bad. Like, this comment, like, he might not be cooking as hard, but, like, this isn't terrible.
You can rule that one out.
Hang on. Mismanagement is not capitalism. 2D Pokemon games came out in a free market system. Okay, you know, whatever. This one isn't that bad neither. You calling Elon Musk an idiot is an idiotic thing. Go touch grass and obsess it over people who have different views than you. What a clown. Again, this is the exact type of comment I would screenshot and send to my fiance and go, look at this fucking idiot. I'd laugh and I'd move on. Why are you putting this in a video? Admittedly, it is funny though. I'll give you that.
It's tough. I think I'm just not built for this kind of nasty behavior.
Evidently. Evidently, am I right? Jesus Christ, lad. Jesus Christ. Good Lord. Yeah, you just gotta bitch about it with the boys. Brother, you just gotta bitch about it with the boys. Trust me, it works. I promise you it works, all right? Adopt these 2 simple mindsets, KingK. 1, assume it's always gonna be shit until proven otherwise. And 2, if there are some that really get your goat, bitch about it with the lads. Bitch about it with your partner of choice. And that's it. Do you know what I mean? That's what you gotta do. I promise you, this is my advice to everyone, all right? This is my advice to all of you guys as well.
Unfortunately, I have to mold myself into the kind of person who can deal with it, since my job is to contribute to that discourse in a lot of...
I mean, you could contribute to it without reading it. I feel like you can. I feel like maybe you'd be closing yourself off to alternating opinions, but you don't have to read the shitter comments. You don't have to, if that makes sense. You don't necessarily have to. If you don't... I think that begs the question, like, can you enjoy product and talk about product without necessarily participating in the discourse? I think you can. Although I feel like I could be proven otherwise. Does that make sense? I feel like somebody could probably prove to me otherwise. I believe you could, though. I believe I could probably make Pokemon videos, put my thoughts out there and articulate them, and then just not care what people think about me otherwise, or like feel the need to read the comments. I feel like I could do that. I feel like that'd be okay. You know? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'd have to think about that a bit more, but I feel like you could. I feel like you could.
Of ways. To continue to write about Pokemon in any meaningful way means to address, even externally, how the franchise has developed and changed over time, using my perspective wherever it applies.
Yeah,
it's
of course.
fitting then that whenever I step up to write about these games, my brain is never able to step away from the broad reaction to them. At the time, it completely took over any and all conversation about the games themselves.
It's a shame that you can't, but I do think it's led to I was about to say objectively. I caught myself there. I think it definitely led to what I would say is a much worse product in your video. And I would say that the dislikes in the comments probably reflect that too. Like, if you could divorce your mind of this discourse, I would personally have just said, why don't you delay the video until you've gone through enough time where you could? You know, did this video necessarily have to come out now? Like, necessarily? I feel like your patrons would understand, right? I feel like they'd understand. Like, that's the reason they give you the money, right? I don't know. I feel like you could have. I feel like you could have. I feel like you could have. Does this video necessarily have to come out now? Food for thought.
In this specific case, it was almost impossible for me to see anyone actually talk about the DLC, other than to parrot for the 50th time that this company makes $1 billion, why are they selling overpriced DLC instead of finishing their games?
And then what would have been better is if someone like you, someone who generally has measured and reasonable, good analysis and reasonable takes, is for you to analyze the DLC yourself and let it speak for itself. Does that make sense? But instead, I feel like you've poisoned what this video could have been with people online, which is unfortunate. Because yeah, I would have just loved you to just analyze DLC 1, DLC 2, and call it a day, or and the game obviously itself, and leave the discourse out of it. But you haven't, which is a shame. Really, it's a shame, Mr. K. It really is.
Oh man, how lazy! We cannot simply be normal.
He said it again. Wait, no! Hang on. This. Hang on. One more time.
Oh man, how lazy! We cannot simply be normal.
My brother in Christ, you're making Pokemon videos for Pokemon fans. What do you mean normal? Normal is a type in the game. It is not a type of Pokemon fan, my fella. What are you talking about? I'm sure the worst part is, I'm sure you know this after years of doing retrospectives. Oh no, Mr. K, no, No! What have you done? So that's and trying to appeal to the normal Pokemon fans is insanity, brother. I'll be real with you, it's insanity. Are there normal Pokemon fans out there? Yes. Trying to like find them is like a needle in a haystack, my brother. Especially on the internet. Like I mean, like me and you could have a normal conversation about Pokemon. Although it would just be, I agree, because we both seem to have the same conclusions. But we could have a normal conversation. The comments? Fucking Twitter, Reddit? No chance, lass. No chance.
Can we? I can't
Yeah,
just roll.
yeah, they're not, that's the thing, they're not commenting on your video. They're people like me who watch, enjoy your stuff, and then move on. Because generally, people tend not to leave, generally tend not to leave compliments, more so than complaints. It's just like negativity is like a stronger, like generally the emotions tend to be stronger than positive ones. So that's generally how it works, you know? But now again, it's psychology, you know?
Roll in and say that I liked parts of the DLC, even if a big chunk of it felt pretty aimless. I can't say that Dynamax Adventures is one of the best times I ever had playing Pokemon.
You can!
This DLC should never have been sold.
You can! Brother, who? I'm turning into Sir Owlsty. Who is stopping you? Who's stopping you? If anything, you're one of the leading voices in Pokemon discourse. You have the chance to set the narrative. If I had a platform as big as yours, yeah, I would be able to. Like, I would love to be able to push the discourse in a way I'd want if that's something I'd care about. I don't know if I don't now. I don't know if I'd become big if I would. I don't know, maybe. But this is your chance. You know, this is your chance, brother. Who is saying you can't? You can. He's discourse poison chat. I'm so. Oh no, it's such a shame.
Hacks. Like, can we just
Hang
stop?
on.
DLC should never have been sold. Game Freak are a bunch of greedy hacks. Like, can we just stop? Can I stop seeing this, please?
Turn off your phone! Oh my God! I have to admit it, don't I, chat? I actually have to admit it. I have to. Oh fuck! What happened? What happened to my soundboard? I was gonna play sad song, but my soundboard died. Oh no, I'm back. Mine got washed. Mine got washed. My fella in Christ, they could not be that hard. Again, I just to be as good faith as possible, to cope as much as possible. He has a platform that apes my size, so maybe proportionally it just becomes a lot worse. But I cannot see a reality. I'm going to be honest, King K. I could not see a reality where even if I'm like 306 subscribers strong, where I spend my free time reading about discourse, you know, like even when it comes to, especially about Pokemon, I am very lucky that I have a fiance and a good friend of mine who are both into Pokemon. So when I want to have normal conversations, I can just talk to them. And then I know when I'm like going to Twitter, it's Bravo 6, baby. We're going into the fucking toxic pits of hell, you know? So I'm sure you have people like that. There's no way you don't, right? There's no way you don't, brother. I'm sure you have people in your life you could probably like have normal conversations with. So when you go on the internet, you could expect the chicanery. And if you're invoking on them to stop, Steve, My fella. My fella, brother, it's never going to stop, okay? The internet is the internet. Especially in the modern day, in the large 25, negativity sells more than ever, brother. You joking me? People make fucking, like, entire bank accounts worth of money off negativity. Brother, that's crazy. That's insane, my fella. I had a nickel for every time Musty's goat washed out for 2 nickels. Oh, I'm so upset it happened. Listen, he says his name's King K, but I feel like his name is Mr. Mark. Oh, man. I feel like his favorite dessert is Fumble Crumble. I don't know. I don't have a third one, unfortunately, so, but I did have those two.
Can we be decent human beings? Just talk to each other about art?
No! He just keeps going! He just keeps going! No! It's Pokemon, my fella, it's Pokemon fans.
Instead of participating in this stupid damn charade, can I talk to you like a normal person? Can you just...
Me, yes! The incident, brother! Stop,
tell me
please.
the things you didn't like without you needing to be above everything?
I mean, with no disrespect, but what, the way you're being in this entire video? Like, no disrespect, Mr. K, but like, you're hardly coming at it from like some humble Pokemon fan. I think like you've definitely been like eating some Smarmite, let's put it that way, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. You've been on your perch, you've been on your high horse telling others to get off your high horse. Like, that's what it's felt like. I'm gonna be real with you. I like you. You're one of my favorite YouTubers. You've definitely been on your high horse this video telling others to get off your high horse, you know what I mean? Come on now. This is crazy.
To try to stop a company from doing the thing it was literally designed to do?
Me when capitalism.
Guarantee that the level of positivity I have shown towards Sword and Shield today will yield comments calling me a corporate...
Jesus fucking Christ. It's literally going, the comments are gonna be, the comments... It's actually gotten worse. It's actually gotten worse. I didn't think it'd get worse. No way. I want to make it very clear. Dry Light makes a good point. His other retrospectives are genuinely good. Please chat, watch his other ones. His other ones are genuinely good. I love him. His other videos. This one is good lord. Good lord.
Positivity I have shown towards Sword and Shield today will yield comments calling me a corporate shill because I've decided to pour my energy into things other than yelling at a video game company for doing their job correctly and sacrificing the artistic merits of Pokemon via the guidelines set in place by capitalism.
It's just a shame that it cost you the entire this video suffered as a result. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. I feel like you could have made this. This could have been like a Twitter post, brother. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, come on, I just came here for a fucking retrospective, man. God damn.
It's self-defeating. I don't like any of this shit either. I wish Game Freak had more time to fully realize these kind of cool ideas. I don't know how anyone could come to the conclusion that the devs are lazy and...
Again, as I mentioned before, I'm repeating myself again. I think Game Freak is lazy is just the general slogan people are using to go for the games aren't as good as they should be, right? Is it fair to be annoyed at people for using a phrase that doesn't quite align with the reality of what people want? Sure. But the best faith interpretation and then the steel-manned point is there's a general discontent with how Pokemon is now, you know? Are there some people who like genuinely believe Game Freak are lazy? Yeah, but those are idiots that are not worth even acknowledging. Lord knows I wouldn't. You know, if someone came up to me and said, "But Musty, Game Freak is lazy," you're banned. I just wouldn't. I just don't care. I don't care. I genuinely don't care to even acknowledge people like that. But if someone came up to me and said, "Musty, I genuinely think these games could be amazing if Monolith got a hold of them," I'd be like, "Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, of course. You're not wrong. I agree. You know."
That's how we ended up in this situation? Genuinely, what the fuck? Where does that line of reasoning come from? No, the reason this is happening is that Pokemon is a perpetual money-printing machine that no one in their right mind would ever slow down for any reason. Especially not to give artists more time to create. How does that convert to profit? You cannot get upset at them for that. Unless, you know, maybe you do recognize there's a larger force here that might be flawed.
Fundamentally flawed. Oh, man. Definitely eating that Smarmite, am I right, guys? Good lord. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Perhaps Pokemon keeps building for some reason. we might want to ask ourselves why they started building this bridge and where it might be going. What does it mean to be great?
I don't know, that's a good question. But right after Saul gives me another 5. Thank you so much, Saul. It's strange that happened twice where YouTuber using people online. Yeah, I know, right? First, when it was Rogue Renegade, I did not care because I don't care for Rogue Renegade. But when it was King K, I cared because it was King K.
The Gala region has a big sports...
Oh, are we back to normal now? Are we back to normal? Good lord, please tell me we're back to normal. Please, Mr. K, continue.
It's cute. Your trainer card's converted into a
I like this. I like this. This was fun.
You get to collect them from various different rivals and gym leaders. They have cool art on them, as well as bits of lore to fill out their backstories.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
It's not as prevalent these days, but you could collect these trainer cards from other players after battling them, and that might be my favorite part of the system overall. You get to roleplay being the best trainer there ever was on the biggest spotlight there ever was.
True. I agree with that. I don't like the phrase fundamentally flawed. Enjoyment of things is subjective. Well, Luigi Brothership Render, your comment was fundamentally flawed. So goodbye. 10 minutes of damage for you, young man.
Fame, fortune, and tantalizing power. There's a literal implementation of that idea in Dynamaxing, where certain battles allow you to kaiju up one of your Pokemon for a few turns, doubling its health and letting it unleash powerful moves that change the weather, stats, or terrain.
That's quite cool.
It's this generation's gimmick. And feel
Gordy, I hate Gordy. But I do like Brosafina giving me too. Thank you so much. This section was made by evil twin King J. Oh no, Mr. J. It's the Joker. It's the Joker, baby.
It's like a smart fusion of Mega Evolution and Z moves.
I thought Dynamax was okay.
Places a limitation
That was alright.
on the duration of the form and where you're allowed to use it. Gym battles are one such place, and it's been incorporated into the League Challenge officially, so they all do it. Since it only lasts 3 turns, and
I will admit though, Gordy's pose here is kind of hard. It is a decent pose. Melanie's still better though.
one shot at using it to turn the tide, it serves as an effective tension builder for what are the coolest gym battles in the series. Even your first gym battle feels like this larger-than-life event. It cuts to one of those snappy sports channel transitions, framing your viewpoint as what's currently being seen on TV. You walk into this enormous stage, a roaring crowd ready to greet you as you size up your opponent. You take your places, and a killer track starts playing that gets the blood pumping like nothing else.
The best gym theme in the series. I will have no one question me on that.
It's actually a dynamic track, changing to be muffled when one of your Pokemon's knocked out, and to incorporate the cheers of the crowd once you push the leader to their last Pokemon. As can often happen in these battles, if you both wait to Dynamax until the very end, you're suddenly in a kaiju battle like something out of Godzilla. Did you know Ken Sugimori's designs were modeled after kaiju?
Hey!
It's a fun full circle mechanic. In general, this intense focus on battling aligns its spirit more closely with Gen 1 in a way that feels more meaningful than chucking in a bunch of references. Those still exist, of course. The champion uses a Gigantamax form Charizard, and in a move very similar to X and Y, the other Cantonian starters also get Gigantamax forms. Unlike those games, though...
I just want to know, hands up, were you one of the people who knew he had a Charizard, decided to raise a Dreadnought, and then when he used Max Overgrow, you were like, oh shit. Oh no. I'm in danger. If you're one of those, get fucked, nerd. I never did that.
I believe this is meant to evoke an intentional return to simplicity. Team Rocket in Red and Blue were sideshows. You run in and dismantle their operation with the same energy you used to go out and catch a Snorlax. That is to say, there was very little value placed on it inherently. It was just another activity you partook in during your journey through Kanto. Battling Team Yell or Eternatus, likewise, is given very little focus. In fact, during various points in your journey, characters like Leon will go deal with stuff for you.
Yeah, I thought it was quite, I did think it was quite a nice change of pace that the adults around you are genuinely competent. I do think it probably wasn't as done well in Sword and Shield because it just meant less set pieces for you to do with in a game that didn't really have a lot of those, which if you kind of like the being the focus of the story, then maybe it wasn't really to your liking. But I kind of thought it was a nice change of pace.
Telling you to continue focusing on your adventure. Team Yell's a play on toxic fan culture, with this group of rowdy fans causing trouble across the region, unleashing their passion for Marnie, one of your rivals, as they cheer her on at the expense of everyone else. They might as well not exist as anything more than a joke, eventually being wrapped straight back into the gym challenge through a clever twist. This places the energy of your playthrough into your competitors. All three of your
so the video's good again. Hey, Carstorm, shut up. My goat is back.
Each get their
My
own
goat is
theme,
back.
which acts as their hype song. A lot like Blue, you take these rival battles all the way to the top, getting an ultimate final battle with all of them. These battles have a thrill to them thanks to this infectious, adrenaline-fueled energy. Even that first battle against Milo gets a bit of spice injected into it when he Dynamaxes his Eldegoss. Each major character has their own way of throwing their Pokeball, as well as a unique way of chucking their Dynamax.
It's very expressive.
Though many of them don't ultimately contribute much outside of being obstacles, the lax nature of the plot means they don't really need to. As far as you're concerned, they really are obstacles in your path. Anything they have to show for themselves as characters will be shown in the heat of battle. With
I like Rayhan's one is my favorite.
And whatever you can glean from their teams or league cards. They're not particularly challenging gym leaders, and in that sense, I do wish some of them put up more of a fight. Still, Dynamaxing does let them get away with a few picks.
I still do think Rayhan was quite fun, you know?
And the fact that they use Gigantamax forms for their aces makes those Pokemon feel unique to them. Even with underpowered teams, their ability to Dynamax can sometimes turn the tide. Kabu is an older gym leader who's gone through ups and downs.
I like his Will-O-Wisp strat.
Has never let go of that fiery spirit. He's adopted Will-O-Wisp as a general strategy, encouraging everyone in his league card to keep experimenting with moves and abilities to keep that passion alive. His Centiskorch is the perfect ace, resembling an insect that's crafty, quick, and difficult to pin down while it blazes at insane temperatures.
True, my goat is back.
Team aping off the idea that she is definitely modeled after the Queen.
Queen Liz, baby.
Into a giant
Rule Britannia.
And she oozes the embodiment of the British upper class. She's also a troll, asking you
I
questions
like it.
that have no correct answer.
This is funny as hell.
I love her. Piers is my favorite. Not only is he the first Dark-type gym leader, he's also a punk rocker and refuses to use Dynamax.
Against the
Instead of
anarchy,
picking
UK
an ace,
anarchy,
he
baby.
deliberately goes out of his way to call out each
we're
of his
different.
Pokemon and their unique abilities. You'd think he'd end on Obstagoon. I mean, look at him. Instead, he ends on Skuntank, and I love that commitment to sticking his finger up at the league, doing things his own way. The fact that Piers and Team Yell broadly represent the punk rock movement of the 70s, and in this title openly protest the biggest institution in the Galar region by refusing to move to another city with a power spot, collapsing the population and economy of their city, well, nah, I'm reading too much into that. Sword and Shield don't have anything like that going on in the text, surely. Anyway, Sword and Shield have...
Do they... I feel like that one flew right over my head. Isn't it, or does it? I feel like. Let's move on, I guess.
Some interesting things to say about greatness, history, and ego. Your primary rival, Hop, is the little brother to the region's champion, Leon. This places a lot of pressure on Hop to perform, and he is consistently tested at every leg of his journey.
This guy doesn't shut up about political issues. Ooh, Keir Starmer. Ooh, Donald Trump. J.D. Vance. Elizabeth Warren. Liz Truss. Now I sound like a Smash announcer. Boris Johnson. Gordon Brown. David Cameron. Winston Churchill. Rishi Sunak.
He tries to emulate his brother's style of aggressive battling. Supposedly, he even tried to emulate the way in which Leon throws his Pokeball.
Mr. Bean!
Admiration for role models is a trait Hop shares with Bede, who looks up to Chairman
I love
Rose.
politics now.
I think it says a lot about Rose that Bede is a smug, arrogant prick who defiles public property in Rose's name, but we'll get to him later.
Ooh.
These role models are healthy, but only when you don't forget that they are as human as you are. Placing these figures on unreachable pedestals means, of course, that you've set impossible expectations for yourself.
Chat, stop. I'm trying to watch a video essay. Just stop. Margaret Thatcher!
And the thing about sports is, your sense of self-worth is very difficult to pry away from your success. No matter how good you are, in battling, there is always a winner and a loser.
True.
In a huge tournament, there can only be a single champion standing atop every competitor. That is a lot of loss. If you think about it, as the player, you come in and single-handedly crush everyone's dreams. It's not personal, of course. I don't want to trample over Hop's efforts to be like his brother, or Marnie's earnest shot to win for Team Yell and her brother. Yet, there can only be one, and I'm gonna see those credits. You might notice that is a concept antithetical to Pokemon itself. It's a world built on love and connection.
True.
Collect tons of different Pokemon.
True, guys, true. Theresa May!
All over the world. Connection is power, Pokemon says, in the same breath that it crowns an individual champion forged in the fires of other people's broken dreams.
How very hypocritical,
this
huh?
kind of friction has always
What do the
been
people
at the heart
online
of the
have to say
franchise.
about?
Every game has a championship bout, and every game stresses the importance of companionship.
Ludo
Sword and
narrative,
Shield are maybe the first time this contradiction was meaningfully explored, and it does so using a character I hate
Whoa.
with all of my being.
Chairman Rose. Oh my god. Chairman Rose! Brexit! Yeah, Chairman Rose sucks. Worst character ever made, actually. The Chairman Rose ran.
Chairman Rose is a rich, narcissistic, delusional, sorry excuse for a man.
Just like all CEOs, am I right? Capitalism bad. CEOs bad. Musty good. Sorry,
I have
continue.
despised since these games released. It began with the realization that Chairman Rose was trying to solve an energy crisis overnight that wasn't going to become a problem
For 1,000
another
years.
1,000 years.
True.
He can't even conceive of the idea that Leon doesn't want to help him deal with Eternatus right that second, choosing instead to finish out the championship bout first. Leon even agrees to do it as long as Rose waits until the battle is done. A single day.
Nothing he did lasted.
That is too much for Chairman Rose, who announced
I like it. I actually never noticed. I do like his haircut though. I do like his high fade he's got. Well, it's not really a fade. I do like I do like the cut. The cut kind of cool though. I'll give you points for that. Earring a little lame though. A little lame. Facial hair. I don't know why it's not connecting here. Medium drip. Medium drip.
who announces on a live broadcast in the middle of the most important match of your life to coerce Leon publicly to help him out anyway. To solve a problem, may I remind, with a 1,000-year date of urgency. That was when it began. That is when the seed of hatred started growing.
It is.
How
He is really
the
stupid.
hell do you botch a villain this badly? To attempt to dress up one of the most obvious twists of all time by giving him one of the most nonsensical motivations of all time? I just couldn't make sense of any of it. Why
See, at
was
least
Rose
Lysander
doing
was
this
funny bad.
epic orchestral chanting in the opening of his theme, where he stares down at his Pokeball as if lamenting what he's about to do, with the knowledge that it's unfortunately necessary. Oh, what a complex villain. Except he isn't. He's unhinged. Again, Galar will run out of energy in 1,000 years.
Yeah,
Do you know
yeah, but like, listen, if he doesn't do it now, then they're gonna put it off, and then put it off, and then put. No, his plan made sense, Mr. K. You just don't understand his vision, okay?
how
CEO's
long
good.
That is, do you know what was happening in history 1,000 years ago? The Vikings left Scandinavia for Canada. The plot of fucking
Damn, King
Vinland
History?
Saga.
Vinland
And this
anime mentioned. I love King K now.
motherfucker cannot wait a single day. They try to set it up as this reasonable argument where Rose is simply being proactive, trying to nip this problem in the bud as soon as possible. Based climate activist, right?
True!
They give him this larger-than-life operatic
I love the
theme, like
climate.
he's some tragic villain just stepping up to do what no one else is willing to. Except that isn't true at all. He's crazy.
What was he?
He waited one more day. May I remind? Stress. One more day.
Listen, some people just want things today, Mr. K. I think you're being unreasonable. I think you're being unreasonable.
Leon would
I
help
feel like he made sense.
For years,
His plot
I would
made sense.
describe Rose as one of the worst characters Game Freak had ever
Actually true.
created. I would preach this truth to anyone that would listen. I am Chairman Rose's #1 hater.
No, I am. You're number 2. Shut up.
Your mention of
hate
Rose
him.
during a stream would spark a 10-minute long tirade about how stupid he is and how much I hated him. Somewhere along the way, that hatred transformed.
Into what?
I happened upon the man's league card, which revealed...
Mr. Rose is in fact a talented trainer, coming up in second place in the past Champion Cup. As chairman of the Pokemon League, and as the president of a large business conglomerate, he's truly is a hero to the Galar region, working tirelessly to ensure its prosperity. His thoughts and words don't always match, and thus many say it's hard to tell what he's actually talking about. In fact, it is said that only his secretary can tell what his true intent is. No, this above text was submitted by his secretary.
that he had come in second place during his own league challenge. In the Sword and Shield DLC, Crown Tundra, you meet Rose's brother Peony, and although not much is revealed about their evidently cagey sibling relationship, there is one other thing we learn about Peony.
One thing I learned about Peony is that his beard actually connects. That's why he's the better brother. All right, because his beard actually, yeah, he has good beard control. Good shit, brother.
That he used to be champion. Yet, we find ourselves in a present day where Chairman Rose owns the league, sitting above everyone else, while Peony left to go gallivanting in the snowy mountains with his daughter.
Gallivanting?
How did that reversal occur? And why does it feel so similar?
Bro is
to
gallivanting,
another
skull
sibling
emoji.
dynamic? These seemingly unrelated facts put everything about these characters and this region into a new context. Consider that in these games, the first person you see is Chairman Rose, not the region's professor. He has usurped even that role in his effort to
One
be the
ego.
most
He's such an
important
ego,
person.
doesn't he?
He ushers you into the region. You're sure to be informed at various points about how important his efforts are to sustaining the region's energy, and he makes sure to establish a relationship.
Hey,
with
I forgot he was wearing his sneaky drip. Gallivanting? Listen, Slink Superior, get out of here, okay? No puns allowed. All right, only I can do that.
when you start drawing crowds of your own. After all, should you be the one to finally dethrone Leon, he needs to make sure he owns you too.
Owns
I've
you,
always
little bro.
found it cute that Leon's hat has a crown on it. In the region with kings and queens, Leon is the king of the Galar region. Isn't it interesting then,
that Chairman Rose above him
effectively owns the king?
Game
That he stands above
Oh shit!
royalty?
True.
It was so simple. Once I realized that Sword and Shield are partly about battling ego. Chairman Rose lost his battle long ago when he failed to become champion.
How do we make this about capitalism, though, King? I'm joking. Okay, I'm
He's been
joking.
compensating ever since.
I'm not though. How do we make this about
Sink a level
capitalism?
Deeper, Chairman Rose wants to be the legendary hero, or at least he wants to create one. There's an idea penned by Thomas Carlyle that history's greatest achievements are the result of great men. In a lecture titled The Hero as Divinity, Odin, Paganism, Scandinavian Mythology, he states,
Universal history, the
Would it be a video essay without mentioning something from history games?
history of what man has accomplished in this world, is at bottom the history of the great men who have worked here. They were the leaders of men, these great ones, the modelers, patterns, and, in a wide sense, creators of whatsoever the general mass of men contrive to do or to attain. All things that we see standing accomplished in the world are properly the outer material result, the practical realization and embodiment of thoughts that dwelt in the great men sent into the world. The soul of the whole world's history, it may justly be considered, were the history of these.
men like Shakespeare, Rousseau, Napoleon, and even mythological figures like Odin, or dare I say, King Arthur,
True.
were born geniuses who changed the world. According to this, they immortalized themselves as great men of history. These days, it's difficult not to see great men everywhere. Billionaire CEOs who want to be recognized for their life-changing accomplishments, or who brute force their way into the limelight, perhaps becoming President of the United States. Too soon?
Valid comparison? Yeah, maybe a little too soon. Maybe a little.
Unfortunately, history will remember these great men. They will live forever in the minds of future generations because they were lucky enough to make
Elon
a bunch of money
Rose.
from whatever family dynasty they were born into. Or maybe they were just chosen by the sword and the stone. That's who Chairman Rose is, or at least it's who he wants to be. He must be a great man of history. He must save the world. He must be the most important person in Galar. Losing the Galar Championship was such a blow to his ego that he gained ownership of it, placing him above all of it by technicality, above his own brother.
Honestly, I actually really love this theory about Chairman Rose. I think it's easily one of the best analyses of his character that I've seen on the internet. And I think, if anything, it gave me a new appreciation for him. Appreciation in that he sucks even more. But hey, I actually really like this analysis. Yeah, still a shoddy character. But I actually really like this analysis. I just thought he was bad because he was bad. But now I can say he's bad because he is bad. He's a bad man. He's more than just CEO bad. He's a jealous CEO bad. You know? I really like this. If only the whole video could have been stuff like this. If only, Mr. K. If only we could have had an entire video of this. If only, huh? Crazy.
Perhaps. Then, following what the region knew to be true, that a single figure saved the region during the darkest day, Rose could not find a similar problem to solve within his lifetime, so he looked ahead, 1,000 years into the future, to find a problem he could somehow warp into an emergency that he could solve in his lifetime. He had Leon, the strongest trainer he had ever seen, and released Eternatus with the confidence that Leon would step up and become the legendary hero. Thus, it was not only a fractured ego, but an obfuscation of true history, which led to the darkest day repeating itself. For as we come to discover, there were two heroes that saved the region. In the present day, those two heroes weren't champions at all. Leon, the strongest trainer in the region, couldn't do it, but they could. They rose above their ego, worked together, and saved the region.
True! It's real, right? Genuinely makes me wish Rose wasn't written awfully, because he makes it sound like he had a genuine idea they actually terrible. Yes! That's what I liked about this. This bit of the video was amazing, if you ask me. It gave me a newfound appreciation for Rose and how shoddily he was done, you know? But this writing fire, it's a shame, like genuine, and I mean this, it's a shame the whole video couldn't be like this. But instead, what was it? You decided to dedicate a whole section, like what was it, fucking, what was it, both of these sections actually, so it's from 12 minutes to basically 35 minutes. 20 minutes to some fucking internet idiots. Really, Mr. K? Is that really what we're doing, brother? You're writing fire, and instead you let them extinguish your bright flame. Brother.
If you were around for the release of these games...
Oh, the fuck! Don't tell me we go back. Oh, I just saw the chapter name. Oh no, look at my lawyer dog. I'm going to I just lost my dog. But they told me how to chase the bag. Oh, is it over? Game Freak lied. Are we going to do this again? Are we going to do this again? I just had like easily one of the most best analyses of one of the worst characters in the series. And a run, ninja, run.
Run, nigga, run.
For real, honestly. Jesus Christ, we're going to run.
Freak lied hashtag. This was started in response to a
What are we doing? No! It was so good. Literally, if you're going to watch this video, watch the Great Galar region, then immediately skip to fucking this bit here, what means to be great, Chairman Rose, and then skip this, I guess.
Supposed lie that Game Freak...
Hang on, let's read this. It needs to be said that after recent... Okay, this has got... What's it? Hang on. Can I get rid of the bar for a second? Oh, 29k. Okay, so at least this was a substantial movement, what you can say. He's not just bringing up some shitter. This needs to be said. After recent news that has come out proving once and for all that they all lied and to cut the decks to make the models from scratch, this needs to be spread around. We cannot trust Game Freak anymore. For this purpose, I created my own hashtag. Share the recent post about this subject and use the hashtag to get it going. TLDR, Game Freak claimed that they had to cut the Pokemon games due to having to remake the models from scratch, but these models are shown to be the same ones from the 3DS. I don't want to say I'm so proud of you, all of you. I think this is a simple case of people felt they were incensed and did what they felt like they had to do. Like, this is just the internet being the internet, you know? I'm going to refresh just to get the bar back up.
This trainer in the region couldn't do.
Am I going to go forward again? There we go.
If you were around for the release of these games, you might be aware of the Game Freak lied hashtag. This was started in response to a supposed lie that Game Freak partly cut the national decks in order to lighten the load of remaking all the models. Well, my dear viewer, it was found that all of the models share the same wireframes as the ones used in X and Y and Sun and Moon, meaning they lied. If you search this hashtag, you'll come across dozens of threads from supposed experts breaking down in great detail why this was a lie. It is a pretty...
I genuinely believe the backlash a Game Freak is getting would be significantly less if they were honest to us instead of lying. I actually kind of agree. I agree with this sentiment. I really do. I think there would have been backlash 100% with Dexit, but if they would have just came straight up and said, hey, listen, guys, eventually we're going to have to do this. We're nearing 1,000. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go more focused Pokedex, all right? We're going to keep this, we're going to make some new Pokemon, all the new Pokemon you enjoy, with a curated craft of old ones that feel natural to the region. Yeah, people would have been pissed, but okay, yeah, that sounds good. Come on now. Don't get me wrong, they would and still deserve the backlash for being incompetent, but to me, I'd rather be honest than lie. True! All they got to say is that they weren't prepared for the transition from hand alphabet. I don't think they'd ever admit this, in all fairness. I don't think they'd ever phrase it like this. I think they'd phrase it more how I said it. And they ended up having to cut 50% of the Pokemon because of their incompetence. Instead, they go to false hope that they made new models and dynamic animations when it's clear that it's not a completely honest answer. The backlash probably would have gone if they included free updates to give us more mons that were culled. Knowing how they couldn't add like 28 Mega Evolutions that were introduced from more Aztecs and why about an update, I doubt this will actually happen. It seems like blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it's just... People would have understood if you were just a bit more transparent.
And it lit the fan base on fire.
This complete, complete bullshit. In the interview, Omori states, this literally translates to, we had to remake the models from the beginning. I don't know if I should trust the Google Translator. I mean, in this case, you can trust it since it's actually accurate. It's come from someone who's fluent Japanese. I found this is true for mixed text CMS line, so yeah.
Fire. So yeah, open and shut case, right? Game Freak lied, they're lazy hacks, and we can never trust those bastards again. Well,
true!
Not exactly. Firstly, this is a translation of a Japanese sentence into English. We are translating a language based primarily on context, where words have so many different meanings that it's difficult to draw specific conclusions.
There's no way your argument is translation error, therefore, Mr. I don't like where this is going. Hold. I don't like where this is going, though.
Even then, there are tons of threads certain that the terminology used here refers to the models being remade. They obviously could not have meant anything else when speaking to lay people about modeling, except, finally, after hours of searching, I came across another thread about how you would have to redo the textures if Sword and Shield were on a new engine, meaning, in a literal sense, they would have to remake them. Even if they had the wireframes in place, they simply could not inject the models they already had, which means they didn't lie. People drew conclusions based on vague terminology. But it doesn't matter anymore. The damage of that incident is already done, as is the perception of the person who said it, true or not. It has been lost to time, and there's simply no helping that. I find it distracting.
I feel like this is an example of you. I think it's an example of you probably not using your platform as effectively as you'd like if that is a narrative you would like to counter, right? Now, granted, it is obviously 5 years, or at this time, would have been 7 years too late to reverse the discourse, but who's to say that if you presented this argument as is, in a normal way instead of framing it as a people online were being, I feel like this could have done a good job in swaying people, because I genuinely didn't know that, they had to change engines, so they literally would have to remake the model. So maybe it was a bit of a translation flub. Yeah, you probably could have presented that, but the way you present it here just makes it seem like you're more salty than actually like presenting a cogent counter argument. Does that make sense? Like it feels like you're more angry at the people for being annoyed about something that potentially could have been worth getting annoyed about, and are less so presenting an objective fact. You know, that's what it feels like. That's how it comes across to me. I don't know. I like the fact that you went into the research to figure out that this could have in fact been a translation error, but I feel like you could have presented it in a way that didn't make you seem like you were just upset at Pokemon fans, you know? I don't know.
Stressing how volatile this fan base can be, how movements can spring up around a few words from an interview that may or may not even mean the thing they're upset about, how people will fixate on minutia I can't be asked to give even a single remote fuck about, which
You certainly confused me, lad, considering how much of this fucking video you dedicated to all these people. Are you sure? Can I hear that back one more time, please?
Minutia I can't be asked to give even a single remote fuck about.
It seems like you give more than one remote fuck, brother. I'll be honest with you. I'll be real honest with you. It seems like you give more than one remote fuck. Just a tad. Maybe two. Maybe two remote fucks. Maybe even one that's hybrid, you know? It's remote and it's in the office like 2 days a week. Maybe. I think development is fascinating, but talking down to people doesn't make anyone sound. Yeah, I think that's the issue. I think the point he presented was fine. It's just it obviously came as a bit more condescending than it probably needed to.
Which, to be fair, is entirely within their right. I praise and complain about small details in games all the time. I think it's really the attitude that crushes me, that we need.
Yeah, people are going to be pricks about.
Need to be on opposing teams. To criticize Pokemon is to also drag down the people who made it into the mud.
I think this is where, again, I'm saying, say the line again, Moresty. Yes, this is just what people are like. People will treat video games like team sports. What you have to do is present your points as clear as you possibly can, and anybody that's very clearly trying to paint you one way or the other, you just get rid of them. You just don't acknowledge them, you block them, you delete them. Because I do that. I'm just saying I do that. If I present a point in the video that I presented in a very fair way, and somebody very clearly takes me in bad faith, you've lost the right to comment on my channel, right? Like, you just have. Like, I don't care. If you present your counter argument accordingly, yeah, fair, of course. I love it when people do that shit. But if someone's gonna see my opinion and I've given like 1 to 2 minutes of explanation, and it's just, Moresty, you just think, I'm like, go away. Do you know what I mean? Go away. I don't want you here. I think you should adopt that policy as well, KingK. So I don't know what else to tell you, brother. Discourse aside, Switch makes me feel sad because I really like the modern characters, but the game itself is kind of unfun. Yeah, a bit of a shame, eh? Bit of a shame.
Insulting their competence and assuming the worst. There's this compulsion to be above the games we play and the people who gave them to us that I have.
I mean, you're not doing a good job. I mean, you're on a high horse talking to other high horses, I will remind you, but I'll let you finish your point. I cut you off.
Never, ever understood. Though, the more I observe vocal gamers at large, it's a pretty broad sense of entitlement and disconnect from the human beings who develop the works that we love. I think that is an element of, that's unfortunately a sad element of just the internet as a whole. I think you're preaching to a mindset that's never going to go away. You know, you're preaching to a mindset that's just never going to go away. People on the internet are always going to be, because the internet kind of divides us, like in the sense that when you're talking to someone face to face, you can see literally their live reaction to the things they say. So you're much more likely to be a bit more choosy with your words, a bit more empathetic, because you can see someone, you know, like you're literally looking at them. I don't think any of the people who were really fervent in their Game Freak lied, they're lazy. I don't think any of these people say it to someone's face, because saying it to someone's face is much different. It's very, very different. So what I'm saying to you is, what did you expect? Yeah, people are going to be arsey. People are going to be mean. That's just how it is. I was literally called a monkey today, brother. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Do you think that got me upset, or did I just go, oh, that's kind of funny? And I moved on, which, yeah, it's a shame that happens to me, but what am I going to do? Am I going to cry about it? Or am I going to just go, ban him and move on? You know? Like, it just depends, really. It's challenging to exist in a space where the popular thing to do is to treat game developers like subhuman wretches who need to listen to their fans who obviously know what's right. All of this over a game where you had to play with 400 of your shiny new toys instead of 900.
And I understand that the tree, and I genuinely understand how discourse like that can get tiring and bothersome. But I would just say, I would implore to you, Mr. KingK, to champion the Tyler the Creator tweet. All right, that's what I would do to you, brother. While I don't think this tweet works as well as it did always in the modern day as it did back then, I think this is something that I think you can employ. Where's the tweet? Where's the legendary image? Here it is. I think this is not necessarily related to cyberbullying. I would replace the word cyberbullying with shitty online discourse. Like, how the fuck is shitty online discourse real? Just walk away from the screen, close your eyes. That's what I would say you should do. You know.
And the trees kind of look like shit. I suppose that was enough to completely disregard anything it was attempting to do. Obviously, the work is completely useless if it isn't living up to whatever potential exists in the imagination of superfans who have never worked on a video game in their life.
Okay, I'll let you cook. Keep going.
The larger the fan base, the more toxic that mindset becomes.
Yes, true,
And
yeah.
We hit a tipping point with Sword and Shield in more ways than one.
Being on the Nintendo Switch, I wanted to really challenge myself to create the greatest Pokemon experience yet using all the hardware power we didn't have before. I've been to the UK on trips, and I just get a kind of sense of strength and greatness from the region, the home of the Industrial Revolution and all these people trying to aim for greatness. We translated some of that feeling into the Galar region.
I think about little details, like how you and your Pokemon who enter the Hall of Fame end up on the title screen after the
What I would say to you, KingK, is that I think you have a very powerful platform to be able to shift narratives. I think you do. I think in this whole video, you don't really give yourself the credit you deserve. If somebody with, like, say, my subscriber count made a video like this, I'd be a bit more sympathetic because they're watching the discourse fly by them without having any sort of say in how it goes or any sort of tide to swing. I would say with the platform that you occupy and the space that you occupy in the Pokemon fan base especially, you have the power to be able to shift narratives like this. And I think if the video was a lot more focused in that regard, I think you definitely could have put the best foot forward in changing the narrative around Sword and Shield. I genuinely think you could have. But I think the presentation of this video has definitely not aided in that regard. I do think the kinds of fans like me who would have watched the whole thing and understand your frustration and also appreciate the good points you made will be understanding of that. But I think the masses as a whole are simply going to take the fact that you spent, and I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this, half of this video's runtime going people online, that I can understand why the messaging you're actually trying to do is being a bit clouded. You know, it's a shame. It really is a shame. If anything, this video is just a shame. Not only is my goat washed, but my goat flopped. You know, what the hell?
Credits, your victory forever memorialized. I think about how they got Toby Fox to compose a track for the Battle
Hey,
Tower.
Mr. Toby.
Someone on the team was so touched by Toby Fox's work that they had to get him on the next game. The ideal Pokemon will always be immaterial and just out of reach, because Pokemon is not fully ours. It springs from the minds of clearly passionate, hardworking artists who love the same things we do and want to make something meaningful. They're doing the best they can within a system designed to
capitalism's
suck
fault.
away
It's
creativity,
capitalism's fault.
leaving us with a product.
Capitalism again.
As long as Game
Consume
Freak
products,
listen to
gamers.
the fans who want to be listened to, I guess, that means they are making a good product. You know, one of the reasons I didn't appreciate the story for so long is due to being convinced pre-release that it was going to go a different way. I was all but certain that Chairman Rose was going to be working with Leon to fix matches in his favor.
Oh, shit.
And that was going to be the central conflict.
Oh, shit, that
I
would
was
have
so
been cool.
married to this theory that I couldn't help but compare what we actually got to what I had created in my head. That is the predominant sentiment in so much discussion these days. This thing is not exactly what I imagined or thought it would be, therefore it is worthless. And that's such a shame, as that exact mindset is the reason it took me so long to simply engage with Sword and Shield on their own terms.
No, but at least you grew up and appreciate it.
Does not mean you have to like Sword and Shield. I don't even love them. It's probably my favorite of the 3D games I've covered, but even I don't really like that the more adventurous, immersive elements of the series have seemingly vanished. It's a pretty huge blow. I simply feel that we can continue to be scathing and poignant in our criticisms without bringing the people who labored over it into the mix as punching bags. My respect for Game Freak has only grown.
True, but the internet's going to internet. I won't harp on this too long. Let's
The
continue.
more they seem to fail in the eyes of gamers. I can see what they were trying to do here, and even if it needed more time in the oven, Sword and Shield is what we were ultimately left with. For better or worse, it was yet another Pokemon game, making bold changes and frustrating concessions, just as they did trying to cram Red and Blue onto the Game Boy, brushing up against every bug you could ever imagine.
Yeah, but a bit of a false equivalency, but yeah, continue.
Pokemon is nothing if not agonizingly consistent.
Yeah?
Sword and Shield might not be my favorite game in the series, but it does have arguably one of my favorite moments.
The Leon fight?
The battle against Champion Leon is extreme.
True. This is actually the best. This is probably my favorite champion fight. Like, in terms of, like, the spectacle, the grandiosity of it. I fucking love this fight, man. This fight was so cool. This fight was so cool, man.
Thus far. Huge stadium, roaring crowd, blood pumping anticipation. Then the music starts.
Exactly.
A heartfelt remix of the Hall of Fame theme, fit with the cheers of the crowd. This is what the whole game has been building up to. This is your moment. Ever since the first games, the championship bout has felt like an aspect of Pokemon that has very rarely been meaningfully built upon in an emotional
True,
sense.
actually
There
true,
have been
yes.
Twists, Team Plasma taking over and fighting Kukui in Alola's first ever league. Sword and Shield aren't a last-minute twist, though. They've injected most of their narrative momentum into the league challenge. Not since Red and Blue has the championship match felt more important than whatever threat the legendary or evil team's cooking up. It's your moment. You and your Pokemon squaring up against Aegislash, Dragapult, Haxorus, Charizard, and 2 Pokemon that are decided by your starter choice. A rival tradition. Though you don't fight him until the end, he is one of your rivals. His specter looms over you at every leg of your climb. He stands atop the mountain you must scale. It's one of the most thrilling back and forth I've had in a Pokemon game. No matter
True.
the team
My
I
goat
pick.
back.
The
My goat back.
spectacle of
Put
it
away the
all,
raincoats.
heightened emotions, all of it is worthy of being considered a moment these games only could have pulled off on a home console. Even if the rest of the game struggles to keep up with that momentum, the spirit is alive and well. Beating Leon remains one of the most cathartic feelings in any of these games, and it's a poetic way to end what I suppose we can now call classic Pokemon. Lazy doesn't make something like this.
True.
It just doesn't.
Again, even the very end, where like you could just tell Leon is fuming, but he accepts his loss with grace. I fucking love that, and yeah, the end animation, I adore it.
Though for many, that old style of Pokemon was well and truly gone before these games, this was indeed the last time it would ever be attempted. From this point, the series would soar in a new direction, to be met with its own struggles and controversies. That, too,
Scarlet Violet?
marks the end
best
of this
game ever made?
series retrospective. Don't get it twisted. I will continue
Damn.
to cover Pokemon.
Oh, I thought the Pokemon fans kicked you out. No, you have to stay, Mr. K. You have to stay. I need PLA and SV stat, brother.
I don't think I'll ever escape the franchise, and I have
True.
so much to say.
When you're here,
about
you're
the
here forever.
remakes, the Mystery
You're here
Dungeon
forever.
games, Legends Arceus, and especially Scarlet and Violet.
Way!
Those will still be
I
coming.
will be there.
But this
I will be there for the
is
Scarlet Violet
end
video.
of the somewhat rigid structure I've tried my best to uphold through the years. In truth, adhering to this structure for the sake of consistency and parity has been a struggle, but it was also one of my goals from the outset. I wanted these to be a big, long series of videos that rhyme with each other, much like the games do. Now that the games themselves are starting to step away from that, I think my videos on them can too. The next time I cover Pokemon, let's get a little more experimental.
Oh, experimental.
Sincerely, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy what comes next. If you can't wait and, like me, lament the absence of the Game Corner in modern Pokemon games, you might be interested in a video about the blurry intersection
What the
between
hell?
video games and
Balatro?
gambling, which is
Gambling?
exclusive to Nebula. It wouldn't have been much-
Nebula? Oh my god. I'm assuming the rest of the videos like ad and Patreon. Yeah, okay. Rest of the videos ad. But either way, guys, wasn't this video amazing when he actually talks about the fucking game? Am I right? But it was completely marred by way too much people online, brother. Way too much. Way too much. Having watched it again myself, again, you make some excellent points, like you always do, and your analysis is always spot on. Even if your overall thesis is something I don't agree with, in this case, I think I agreed with all of your overall points. It's a shame that the discourse poisoned you so much that it affected many people, myself included, enjoyment of this video. Because when I come to a KingK video, I'm expecting a retrospective and some really solid analysis and some really, really well thought out takes. And while I got that, I also got just a bit too much discourse that was recycled from 7 years ago. You know what I mean? Where while you added some extra tidbits to the discussion, I think overall, it was just marred by the fact that you were a bit annoyed with the fan base, to which I think is justified, but to which I say, that's just the internet, brother man. And I'm sure you know that, and I'm sure people have let you know that's just the case. It's just how it is, unfortunately. And the best you can do is just keep the people and fans of yours in and around you that are worth discussing with, and keep everyone else out of it because there's just genuinely no point. I know even though my channel is small, I know when people deliberately interpret me in bad faith, they just lose their right to comment. And I think you should employ that too. Although I don't know, maybe people might, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. But that's my stance on it. I don't see it changing. But either way, let's read the comments, shall we? Let's go to Belver 6. Are we going dark? Oh, let's do it, gamers. Let's go dark. There's a look on the comments. I skimmed them earlier, but let's go. Without creating an echo chamber. No, of course not. I don't want an echo chamber. I think that shit's weird. I like the fact that chat disagrees with me. I like the fact that I get comments that disagree with me. I think one of my favorite comment sections to read was the Lord Friedrich one, because I think a lot of people disagreed with me on that one. But the people that disagree were said their points, and I thought it was interesting to read. I just don't want to hear, Moresty, you're just bad. You're bad. I'm just like, okay, you can leave. I don't care. You know, I don't care about you. But Moresty, you're wrong because this, and this. I'm like, oh, interesting. Okay. You know, there's a difference. There's no do. Also, if you have no profile pic, okay, you get no rights in my community. None at all. That's interesting. I think this is true. I'm going to be honest. Mr. KingK's. I think this is going to warrant its own retrospective in a couple of years. Definitely. Obviously, I can't speak about it, but generally when I think... Look, this literally... Oh my, hang on, Shay, you need to move. Look at this comment. Look at my comment, dude. I'm breaking out of jail. Let me make the chat a bit smaller, just so we can see all the comments. Look at it. This is literally what I said, bar for bar, wasn't it? Generally, when I think people say studio is lazy, it's a shorthand for management is choosing the least artistic and creative routes in effort to maximize turnaround and profit. It's never been, oh, Steve from UI design wants to get out of work. True! A business being lazy about the creative work is not giving artists time and budget. Yes! If one of the... Exactly. He's taking it so literal and everyone knows it's not the individual... Yes! True! I hope you do see these comments and understand that you're a bit... Although he did leave a pinned comment, so let's read that, shall we? Thanks for watching, especially if you've been on these since Red and Blue, which I have. And as I said, I do recommend checking out his other retrospectives. I think they're genuinely good. These games are partly what got me to start making Pokemon videos. A lot of stuff in the script was brewing for years, and I apologize if I went too far. I think that probably explains a lot. Because, yeah, you know... I want to make the next set of Pokemon videos. I do even more special, so I hope I can keep delivering. Thank you again and have a good day. Also, I know I fucked up with the Gene Simmons thing. Also, he does say that Obstagoon is based off Kiss, who are based in the UK, which is a wrong fact, honestly, but anyway. I wrote something down that registers in my brain as an inconsequential factoid and never check it again. In this case, I straight up didn't know what happened because I got both his roles and nationality wrong. I think I was thinking of something completely different band when I wrote that. Can you tell I don't listen to Kiss? But please continue to comment about it because it drives engagement. A little bit of a cope there at the end, but fair, I suppose. What did he say? Okay, so he replied to one comment. It feels like very much you didn't like what people like Distant Kingdom were saying back in the day because you enjoyed the game, bottled it up until the release of this video, and it hypocritically did the same shallow strawman argument that they did. Oh! Cook 'em! What, how does King Klonoa? Oh shit, is that what it stands for? Shit, okay. I actually thought these games were really mid when they came out. Generally had equal amounts of enjoyment and frustration. I had problems with the words they used and the assumptions they made, not the opinions that they held. Yeah, exactly. And what you could have done in this video is better the discourse, or change the discourse for the better, but instead I think you kind of wrestled in the mud with them, you know? Which is a bit of a shame. It really is. I expected more from my King Klonoa, okay? Is that how you say it? King Klonoa? Probably, yes. I think that's how you pronounce it. I expected more from my King Klonoa. I did. Yeah, obviously, one of the many comments he was talking about. I understand you wanted to talk about the controversy surrounding this game was a big thing, but you said it yourself that you were tired about all this discussion rather than talk about the game itself. It's yeah, literally bar for bar. Holy, this is what I was saying. It was a perfect opportunity to make a good faith discussion about the game, but instead a lot of the discussion went into how people sell on the internet 3 years ago. I think you could have just made one smaller section of a video dedicated to it, and that's kind of it. In general, I think your other videos are much more well structured. True, and they were each split into sections. I think they had a clear goal and purpose of what they were trying to convey. This one felt like it was all over the place, except for the Chairman Rose part. This was actually a really good analysis of his character and offered a new perspective I hadn't seen. True! Same! All the part about dynamics arrays were a good perspective on how they evolved the social aspect of Pokemon. Also true! I would have liked you to go more in depth in those aspects and what made the game unique or worth comparing or playing compared to the others. Overall, still like the video. I think I would enjoy you listening to talk about anything, but I still like to offer feedback, and I hope it was good feedback. Yes. Amazing. Genuinely amazing. This is how I feel. Mr. Vortex. It seems like the comments are saying how it is, which I think is very good. I think it's a testament to the kind of community you've built up, that They enjoyed the parts where you actually talked about the game, but were more frustrated with the discourse that you didn't really forward in the best way you probably could have, you know? Yeah, so I think that's probably going to be the most... My brother in Christ, you're the one making the video. It's your choice to be focused on the discourse talking about the damn game. Yeah. It's easier to punch down all those straw mans than be forced to explain why my fan fiction explanation for why the game's story is secretly great is canon, and not the equivalent of jaded Elder Scrolls fan explaining why Mehrunes dragon plan was... Oh, geez. Okay, well, this is a little crazy, but fair. Okay, interesting. Yeah, literally someone saying pretty much the same thing as I did earlier. Real. I just... That's actually true. I just wanted to know what you thought about the game, man. Oh. Defending Game Freak's incompetence and shitting on fictional rich people is way too more important. Stay fit and got us covered. Reading these comments, I'm also glad I'm not the only one who thought so. Yeah, neither did I. It's okay for Game Freak to phone it in because EA spent $1 bajillion on Rockstar need realistic horse testicles in their games. It's certainly an argument. I think, see, this is the kind of comment that I would probably just delete. Like, that's not what he... A very bad faith interpretation of what he said. You see what I mean? Like, get rid of... People like this are shit, man. Get rid of him, bro. Exactly, I don't think that's what he was saying. Yeah, get rid of this bastard, man. Get rid of him, man. Jesus Christ. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about, Chad. I would delete it. But go away. Try again. I wouldn't ban you from the channel. Try again. Make a better comment. Go away. The fans love to scream and shout as if this video didn't come off as a weird tantrum. True. It's definitely one of the most disrespectful. I think the comments are about the same. All the... That's my favorite emoticon now. He really hit him with the... Was it... How would you like... It, was it a more like... I don't know how you'd... what face that would be exactly. You dig into how capitalism and corporations affect decisions and then seemingly side with them. It does seem that way. He didn't, but like it definitely did seem like he was doing a bit more defense than class solidarity, you know? Oh look, even he says it! Yeah, true! Dark lips. A bit of those, you know? Yeah, I think most of the comments are pretty much that. Yeah, literally. All the comments. I think all of the comments are literally... So I won't read any more comments. I don't think he replied to any more. Unless he did, I'll scroll down and see if he replied to any. Just a quick scroll, just see. Is there any he replied to directly that we can glean from, or is that it? No, I think that's it, really. Let's sort by. Should we do what we usually do? Sort by new. Called it a retrospective. It's just defending $1 billion company. Oh boy. God, this is your worst video yet. Can't even finish it. Just shilling for Game Freak for 30 minutes. Talk about the actual game. No wonder it flopped. Yeah, sorry, AJ. I can't agree with this, AJ Destroyer. People who are no longer young when a game comes out are nostalgic for the feeling of being young. I get it, folks. Nothing is going to recapture the magic. Nothing can. Nostalgia is pain, after all. Now I'm going to catch a tiny olive as a 45-year-old. I don't know, Mr. Jibber Jabberwocky. You're kind of jibber jabbering a little. I'm not gonna lie. The day of reckoning for Scarlet Violet is still coming. Reckoning? Reckoning? No chance. I love Scarlet Violet. I think the bigger lot of this video is the controversy talk. True. This person... Oh, is it Sadie Moon? I recognize them. Oh, no! They're one of ours! They're one of our own. I'm gonna outvote every comment because I recognize them, okay? Absolute dog shit video, my man. I normally enjoy the content, but you keep shooting airballs left and right. Bit mean, but what do we expect from a no-profile pick, Andy? I feel like a lot of the times with any game fan, people set unrealistic high expectations of being livid. Yeah, true. This is true, really. Thanks for that, Gaoinion. I don't know how you say that name, brother. I see KingK's one of those left-sided individuals. True. I think Game Freak is absolutely lazy, and not because of Dexit. It's bad because of how the textures are and the buggy recent games have been. Yeah, they should add in the missing Pokemon over time with more releases. But with all the money they make, billion-dollar company, gays. I had gay onion stuck in my head still. Billion-dollar company, gays and buys. Part of these videos are good. Most of it does not warrant being part of the video. True. Sophie Bubbles. While I personally, like others in the comments, didn't enjoy this review, I don't think you deserve the scale of hate of what you were saying. You're bounced for this, and you have some genuinely thoughtful and great videos in the past. Looking forward to the next one. Oh, Lumardi? Oh, shit. Good stuff from a non-profile pick Andy. Good stuff. Sword and Shield of 3DS games they charge $60 for. They damn well should have made every Pokemon available. Not catchable, but usable. There's no reason I couldn't use a Pokemon and train them up. I refuse to make excuses for this crap. For a guy who won't shut the hell up about capitalism being bad, you sure as hell won't criticize terrible business practices for the game. No profile pick Andy. Chad is not a Chad. Downvote. They give you a thoughtful review. This is AI. Downvote. Should be renamed a condescending defense of Sword and Shield. True. A little bit. I'm gonna be honest. Why are you defending a Ballon? See, again, go away. Bad faith. The tone of this video is just off. Yeah, true. It was off. Oof, these comments are rough. AMD. Hilarious. Lol. The double lol. Anyways, I just beat the game at Aries and I enjoyed it way more than Sun and Moon. It actually felt really fun to complete the Pokedex in this one. Biggest complaint I was ever difficult. It is a kid's game, but damn, the older games weren't this easy. They were. Another problem is the frame dropping, especially in the wild area. Lastly, the OST didn't do it for me. I think it's an alright game, lol. Anime profile pic, opinion rejected. Just the way Demeech would like it. Hey, KingK, you probably won't see this comment, but that's just fine. The rest of you, you're coping and seething like crazy. Vote with your wallet. Oh no, a game company made a game I don't like, and I need to try and create a boycott over a movement of the largest media franchise in existence and get billions of people, no, that's not a typo, literally billions of people to cooperate and make them do the thing I want. Why are you getting mad at people over protesting? Nothing wrong with people protesting. If people want to protest, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it probably won't work, sure, but like, I wouldn't be against the idea of protest in principle. That's why, like, the whole Game Freak lied thing, I wasn't a part of it, but if people want to say Game Freak lied, then fair. If you want to vote for their wallet, fair. It's hard enough for you to coordinate a game session together. You want to coordinate boycotting? Touch grass. I'm going to be real. One of the things I find most frustrating about gamers, hard in general, is a complete lack of ability to think systematically. All gamers, brother. All gamers. Some people find KingK's fixations and the comments throughout this video to be annoying or something, but honestly, at this point, I do actually think it's valid to point out most gamers, ... let alone Pokemon fans, have no interest in systemic discussions being brought up, because to them, the answers have to be pretty black and white. No, it's just, I think it's a combination of, if you're going to invoke capitalism, I think you have to be a bit more nuanced. And secondly, I do think, and I think some other people in my chat would agree too, along with myself, generally when people watch a video, they, especially on video games, they probably want more of an escape and not to think about the political and social issues of our day. So when people bring it up, it's definitely a bit groan-worthy. You know? Does that make sense? That's kind of how I feel. Whenever I watch a video and someone gets into more politics or more socialism or blah, 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 there's a part of me that goes, as warranted as it might be, there's definitely a part of me that just goes, you know? That's just how it is. Like a lot of people are exhausted, you know? Like me. Truly, it's exhausting. It really, really is. I really don't care. Can you bring up more capitalism and be warranted? Yeah, absolutely. But I am going to go until you prove to me why I should care. You know? And that's just, I think that's, most people also agree with that. I'll leave this comment there. I think this was a very good video because it didn't hold back. There may be more to say about Sword and Shield, but honestly, these set of games are defined by its controversy as it is by its content. You're not wrong. I just think that a KingK retrospective is above this. That's what I think, personally. Man, there are dislikes. This must be an amazing review. Vote. Every time he said, oh, but this game's lazy, right? You could hear the smug-ass smirk while he was saying it. Definitely eating some Smile, that's for sure. I don't get how people can act like this without cringing themselves. Love the channel, but what a horrendous video on equally horrendous games. I wouldn't say horrendous, but definitely not your best. Definitely not your best. I'll read a couple more. This is actually kind of funny. Who gave them the time crunch themselves? True. Laughing, crying emoji. King K, I love you. It's pretty gay, mate. This comment section's weird. He never said all criticisms invalid. Yeah, comment sections are going to do that. It's just how it is. Oh, hang on. Hang on. The Game Freak Light section really got me. I brought into the anti-hype in the time, but when the games came out, I liked them as much as any other Pokemon game. Maybe a middling entry compared to some of my favorites, but always fun. I like seeing... Wow, it's almost as if you should play a game and form your own opinions, regardless of online... Wow, crazy. I'm glad you learned that, but crazy. I appreciate seeing the team experimenting with the mechanics in Gen 9 and the Legends game. Yeah, true, honestly. And I'm glad to see they're slowing down the dev cycle a bit. Same. But I do care about these devs. I care that they're an immense portion of my childhood all done by themselves. And it's only a good thing if they alleviate it from the crunch meat grind of the game development. The real villain is capitalism. I clapped. Gamers, I clapped. When Y Goal Village 2637 brought up capitalism. I clapped. I'm up voting because I clapped. A couple more. I'm addicted to these comments. I want to be honest, chat. If what King K said here made you mad, you might be part of the problem. Just don't buy the games you like. It's not more complicated than that. That's true, but as I said, I expect more from a King K video. I expect him to be a bit above it all. Not in a literal sense that he's sitting on a high horse, but I expected him to talk about the game and not the discourse. So I am a bit disappointed. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Which you could argue is even worse than being mad, honestly. Damn, I should have known I wasn't going to like Sword and Shield before buying it and playing it. Why didn't I think of that? You know what, Matthew Carter, you win. You win. A couple more. Chat, I'm addicted to these comments. I'm not lying. I'm addicted. I'm addicted. Oh, $1.99. Why don't more people give me $1.99 in the comments, huh? He gets $1.99. You might be reading this anymore, King. But honestly, forget this video and everyone's reaction. Doesn't matter. It's just a game. And this is a video that no one's being forced to watch. Yeah, kill me, chat. If I get comments like this, kill me, please, for the love of God. If I make a shit video, I want people to say, yeah, mate, this is a bit of a shit video. No one's being forced to watch it. Good lord. Kill me. You made so much amazing stuff. That's true, though. And you're a pretty sick dude, and so I thank you for all the videos over the years. Chin up. Thousands of philosopher comments can't be easy for one person to handle, regardless of their positive and negative. Let's all go outside of it, and I'll see you in the next video, my guy. Decent comment, but this bit definitely made me wince a little, I'll be honest. Definitely. Definitely. A little wince-worthy. Gifted lied. It's that simple. Had they been honest, they wouldn't have been this true. The real retrospective review in the comments. I think I've had my fill, chat. I think I've had my fill. Respecting Game Freak in the year 2025. Good lord. 17 upvotes on that bitch? God damn. I'll leave it there. The music's faded out, so I think that's my sign to leave it there, chat. I think that's my sign to leave it there. As I said, King K, closing thoughts are pretty much what I said in that. When you talked about the game, good video. When you talked about the people online, bad video. So I'll leave it there.